What is up, everybody? We're back with another episode of Get on My Level. This should be episode 14 if I can do math, which I usually can't. So fuck. Um, we're joined as usual by Life and Android. What is up, boys?
What's
How's it
happening, my
going?
guy?
Oh man, just doing the damn thing. Uh, Literally as of the start of this recording, Life's having a monumental breakdown on trying to figure out who he's doing and what he's doing with his fantasy. Android is probably fingering his anal facilities.
That's accurate. The usual.
The huge. Hey, at least I can rely on you
Wowzers.
to do what you do. But anyways, we got a little news to cover today. I did want to just go over a few things real quick. I have officially hooked up my PlayStation back in my room. It is hooked up to my monitor because my son decided for his birthday he wanted Mortal Kombat 11, and that requires me hooking my PlayStation back up in my room. You get a couple fatalities in your system, you know how it goes.
Oh yes, that game
So
is fucking fun too, bro.
yeah, I had to. On top of that, I was playing that and fucked around and downloaded Gran Turismo again. I ran some races last night. It'd be like that. So we had a little bit of a PlayStation 4 skirmish going on last night. It was nice though. It was nice. Yeah, I just want to touch on that and be like, I'd say PC Master Race these days, but bro, rocking that Gran Turismo was mad fun.
Oh no, yeah, there's still a lot of fun to be had.
Yes, sir. But yeah, mainly playing that and a couple that I haven't been able to stream for shit because fucking late work nights and blah blah blah. But other than that, it's been pretty active on the gaming front. Just you know, I'm not gonna pop on the stream for like 45 minutes or an hour.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to stream some of that shit, but them games fun as fuck.
Yes, sir. But anyways, we'll start getting into the news. We have quite a few little titty tidbits, itty bitty titty bitty right here,
Oh, the titty tidbits.
bro. The titty tidbits. Um, it looks like in Madden 22 they had, and I think the event might be over by now. It didn't really say how long. It was just a limited time event.
Yeah.
That they were bringing in college teams for the yard, or what the fuck was the game mode called? Is it was one of the fucking game modes where you can play head to head. They're bringing in 10 college teams, kind of flexing their college muscles. Um,
You can finally put Bam up against a real NFL team and see what it looked like.
I I guess,
For all
except
the shit
it,
talking people, all them fucking roll tide stupid ass fans.
except they were gonna bring not just one roll tide. You're getting like the all star roll tide team. Um, if I'm not mistaken, it's got like quite a few players. So you'd have like Florida, you'd have Tim Tebow, Percy Harvin, and then X other wide receiver. That's really, you know what I mean. Like it's gonna have
Yeah.
um I'm trying to see.
Brain hurty, huh?
So basically it's gonna be the best of the best of
Yeah,
that version
yeah, yeah. It's got
of all the players that came through those teams.
yeah, yeah.
So imagine like the Hurricanes and all their fucking greats.
Bro, you want to talk about a team? Now that'd be a fun one to play.
That's gonna be a crazy. If that's in the game, that's gonna be a crazy one because you get the likes of Michael Irvin, Ray Lewis, and so many other Hall of Famers that have Warren Sapp
Mm-hmm.
on your defense. Like
Mm-hmm.
you gonna have
Yeah,
a team of teams.
yeah. You've got probably some of the best players from the 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah,
It's insane. Some of the players that when you think about it, who went to Miami, it's like holy shit.
yeah. Miami dominated.
Yeah, now they suck
Dang, hold
ass.
up.
I don't know what
Did
happened.
Did Buddy who killed his boy? Did he go to Miami?
Hmm?
The football player who killed his friend and then end up committing suicide. Aaron Hernandez.
Was it Miami? I don't remember.
Man, I gotta look that one up because I'm wondering they gonna put him. You gotta put him in a game.
This motherfucker.
Dang, what if they put the Rock in there, bruh?
Bro. Why, so you can sit on the bench again?
Yeah,
Damn it, man.
But
Are we talking about?
be...
Are we talking about the T version of Rock or the
no, the real version of Rock, not
okay. Not the
not this. Yeah, I mean,
not the one
he'll
that pops the needle so he can be the size of a goddamn tank.
He free in society to do what he want.
I ain't saying he use steroids. There's other things, but he definitely that definitely ain't natural.
Nice.
I don't know his progress, but it could be natural. I ain't gonna front on him. It could be natural.
It would be. He would be hard pressed because that was some insane. Like they say, and like I said, I ain't saying he do anything like. Because all it takes is a little extra testosterone shot in your fucking damn near quadruplet size.
Definitely, I definitely seen a dude go from average to, bruh. Wait, that's Buddy. like wait a minute.
Yeah.
Some fucking horse
well, I think
hormones or some shit.
Yeah, well, basically that's what T is, right? Like, they just give you shots of testosterone or other like small things like that.
At his age, he could legally possibly be getting testosterone boost.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that just to say because I don't want to slander The Rock at all because I really like The Rock, but the T boost could, I mean, technically be doctor applied. It could have had low T just based on age.
And, well, I mean, you can get
and other factors.
You can get checked for T early on, and like that's why people understand. Like, if you just if it says that you have low T and you take T and you start working out just some like quite a bit,
it helps. It helps a lot.
You gonna just body, quick.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, your body is processing everything like it should have been all along.
Yeah, pretty much.
Instead of lagging behind.
Yeah, and I'll give him that. Like, I know he has a good workout regimen. That's what I'm saying. Like, if he is using the needle, that's why he gets so swole all the time, because you get all the shit that you need, and then
your
some.
Metabolism is going at the right rate.
Yeah.
It basically realigns your body to work better, more efficient than it was prior.
Because I think they said that's what Hugh Jackman did. It wasn't just T. It was some other shit to get all swole for the later ones. Because like you look at like the first couple times he was in X-Men, like he looked he looked fit, right? And the later ones, that boy looked shredded. And they're like, no. There's no fucking way.
I mean, if you really want to look at anybody, look at Mark Wahlberg.
Oh,
look at him in Pain and Gain.
Yeah.
Marky Mark.
Well, the only
fucking ridiculously swole.
The only reason I use the Wolverine is because that's one of the main reasons he won't do the role anymore. Because he doesn't want to go through all that anymore. He's literally doing too much to himself to keep.
I don't fucking blame him.
Because like he on average he's just like he's not like I wouldn't say fat or nothing, you know what I mean? But like he's not Wolverine physique, right?
Well, the thing is that to get that like chiseled cut look, you have to not eat.
Yeah.
Well, you got
like literally, like you have to be like so flat from not eating for like 2 days that your skin is just stuck to your muscle.
Well, that's also water. That's mostly water weight.
It's eating at a deficit, but you gotta burn off a lot of water weight,
which is
so you could
unhealthy.
Nutritionally have a diet that leaves you deficient calories, basically based on what you burning off. So,
my only food that I'm going to eat today are grapes.
Basically,
yeah.
I mean that's not healthy. There's ways to put healthy meals together. But
okay.
With the way they working out, they could put a healthy meal together like salad.
I'll show you this real quick.
Excuse me, grapes and a protein shake.
There you go.
Kind of.
That's the way you beat the system. A lot of protein shakes, so you get your proper amount of protein. Basically, meal supplement.
I'm about to
Yeah,
show you. Okay,
meal
so y'all
supplements.
know FPS Russia, right?
Actually, yeah.
Okay, so he did a transformation, and oh my god, this motherfucker. Now he was using. He said that he's used T and something else. Um, but can I just take the image? But yeah, yeah. But he said like in the last week to get the shredded look, he just basically cut water weight, and then he was on like a rice and veggie with like a. They eat like very lean meat, so it was like fucking elk or some shit he was eating, but it was
Yep,
like a
most
very
of them do
small.
like chicken breasts, rice, sesame seed.
Mm-hmm.
I know, I man, working out, bro, you bump into a lot of fucking bodybuilders and shit, and you just, I mean, if you ask questions, they're usually pretty quick to come with
There it is.
information, but
Sorry, I was trying to
a
find an
lot of
actual image.
them are cheating.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the swole dudes you see around the gym are cheating the system somehow, some way, or they go out of season, they'll fucking juice,
Mm-hmm.
and then they know their cutoff of when they need to stop juicing to get into season. Let's
Yeah,
say
yeah. But
that.
He looks like he's gonna shit himself in that picture.
Probably the things he was eating would cause me to shit myself. Because you got to think you're like on like like I was saying, but he did it, and he's like, I'm staying to the regiment, but he's like not as
It's impossible to
yeah.
stay that fit
Because,
forever.
yeah, that's what he basically
Well,
said.
right.
He's like you live at the fucking gym. He's like I go at like he likes to do it by himself, when nobody's around.
Yeah.
So he went to the gym at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and he's like, I go home, I fucking go to sleep, and then I get up, and then I go fucking eat my little shitty breakfast, which is like rice, and I can't remember what the fuck he said. And he's like, when I say rice, he's like, imagine like a regular bowl. He's like half a bowl of rice, and then whatever else he put in it,
Yep.
like his
It's
fucking
usually like
egg.
sesame seeds. It's usually like
Yeah,
it becomes a combo meal of trying to pack everything
yeah,
in as small amount of a portion as you can.
yeah. And then he's like, I go on a fucking 10-minute walk afterwards. So he's like, which means I go take another shower because I've sweated my ass off. And then he's like, I go do this. And he's like, I eat lunch and then I go fucking do another fucking walk. I'm like, yeah, no. I'm just gonna keep eating.
Who's got time for that shit?
I mean, it's a little less intense than that, but if
Yeah,
you're competing for money. So
yeah. His goal was just
Right.
yeah, his goal was just to do it because he just wanted to see if he could, right? So
Well, right.
he was able to do it, and that's what he says. He's like, dude, unless you're willing to like just fucking do this and like this because it becomes a lifestyle, he's like, you'll quit.
that shit is never a lifestyle. Number one.
Well, you know what I mean. Like this, it's if you're planning on doing that just to do it, like it's gonna
Oh
be
yeah.
like your morning. You're gonna have to live and breathe it for. He did it in 9 months. I was like, man, that's a loss of 9 months. That's the way I see it.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, to that extreme. I mean, I get it if you like are doing it to compete for money and stuff, but even then you're not going to have like a social life except for with people at the gym.
Yeah, and that's
Unless you're like him and doing it completely by yourself.
yeah, and that's kind of what he said. He's like, I didn't do anything. He's like, I didn't even go to Thanksgiving with my family. He's like, because he's like, bro, I'm not. He's like, I've got to stick to this fucking shit. And he's like, and then I'm gonna be tempted to eat all this fucking food because I'm at Thanksgiving.
Because yeah, it's Thanksgiving.
So he's just like, I just didn't do it. And I'm like, yeah, no, I like food too much. Fuck that
Gangs
shit.
don't take a day off.
Pretty much is what he was saying. But now that he's done, like he says he works out just not as like relentless.
Yeah.
But they said he went and got his body fat, and he was down to like 8 or 9% body fat when he's cut doing his water cut and shit.
Yeah.
I was like, Jesus, that's Jesus.
that note, Jesus would have been shredded.
I mean, fair.
You'd have to be pretty buff to stay up on the cross that long, bro.
I wasn't
Just
gonna go
saying.
there, but touche.
Just saying.
You wanted to go down that road, we'll go down that road. No, but yeah, that was just he did that shit and it was kind of comical. Let's see, what the hell? What else we have? Oh, our favorite game. Battlefield 2042, still no official time on when the beta fucking is gonna drop. Nothing that I've seen as of yet. I haven't looked hard today to see if they've dropped something. But I think as of Saturday, there was still no news on it. I think. I'm almost positive.
I'm just ready. I'm ready for October now, bruh.
Bro, well, they put out a meme making fun of themselves about it. That's the irony of it. So they know that people are waiting because it was like you said in September, and it's like it's September, and it's like you still haven't told us anything. So they're memeing on it, right? Like they understand the concept that people want this shit and they want it now. But again, I'm trying to see if there's official word on like if it's gonna be pretty soon. Let's see what we got here. They did some more. Get your what? Get some more gameplay stuff. This is the meme that they posted. I'll put it in the Discord. And this was literally 5 days ago when they posted this. But still, no fucking news on when it's coming out. I don't know. I mean, it's September, right? Where's my beta? You know what I mean? Like, at least give me a day. You know what I mean? Like, you could tell me it's September fucking 30th for Christ's sakes. I'd be like, all right, well, at least I have a day now. You know what I mean?
We're talking about Battlefield, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So supposedly the official day is the 22nd of October.
No.
I'm not tweaking.
For the beta, no. For the release.
No. For the release of the game.
Yeah.
Any day now will be the beta, but I don't give a shit. If they finna give me the whole game next month, I'm gonna be happy.
Well, I still want
beta
like.
Don't mean shit.
I mean,
I know it's already purchased.
I understand that, like, but I still want to fucking like.
I peep some of the gameplay. The gameplay
Bitch,
looks
I want to play this game right now. I don't think you understand.
That's not gonna be the reality of your situation, sir.
Damn.
Anyway, so moving on from Battlefield being fucking covert because they want to be on Black Ops. They want to dark ops us to death. You fucking bastards. Cyberpunk has went out and hired some of their modders. This is one of the few stories I wanted to kind of like talk about a little bit because it is kind of cool. They basically went out and hired a couple modders and like, hey, you work for us because y'all are doing good and we suck. Yeah, I mean,
basically.
They didn't say that, but that's basically what they said. They're like, y'all do a pretty good job, man. Come work for us, bro.
But this is what you want, man. I hate to say it, but community keeps games alive. And
they really do.
And from what
it takes these types of things to really fucking make the games worth even going back to, especially single player games. After you beat a single player game, what is there to do? Play it again?
Replay it for the story?
Exactly. Nah, fam.
Yeah, life doesn't do that.
Once I spent my 22 hours or whatever the fuck, however long it took me to beat that shit, I'm finished. I've seen it all. It's like watching a fucking decent movie over and over and over again. But it's not even as good as motherfucking any of the Fast and Furious, because when them shits come on, I'm gonna watch.
Those movies suck.
Those movies are fucking captivating. Don't do that.
They're so lame.
Anytime that them shits, if that shit is on the screen and you
We're
walk
about to
past
go
and
off.
sit down for 2 minutes, you hook. You watching the whole rest of the movie.
The only good one was Tokyo Drift,
Bro,
and
yourself.
consequently,
Fall off the side of that goddamn mountain. They was
it's also
drifting
the
down.
only one without any of the main cast.
Bullshit.
See, you could tell Android grew up in a time and age a little different than us.
That was the best one.
It ain't
First
even
of all,
about
the
that.
best
It's just like, why ain't this about
No.
racing no more?
No.
Why are we
it's about
shooting
that.
shotguns at one another?
It's about that.
No,
Because-
it's not.
Yes, it
They
is.
go from Fast and the Furious to Death Race in like 2 movies.
That's the point.
Make it 3.
No.
But they showed you where it was going. It started off as strictly street racing. You got street racing all the way through stupid ass Tokyo Drift, and then they switched it up. They realized immediately, you know what? This shit can't last. This is dumb. Well, it wasn't even that it was dumb. It's becoming dumb.
Yeah, that's why they should have quit at Tokyo Drift.
Nah, fam.
Look,
They jumping building to building now, fam.
They should have
That's where we at
stopped.
with this.
They should have stopped at Fast 5. I'm not gonna lie, because at this point I do watch it just for the memes.
Yeah, no lie. They should have definitely at least stopped it at Fast 5, bro.
I will
Then we would
say,
have never seen a car jump from one building to the other.
I would have been
Or-
okay with that.
We would have never
Me
seen
too.
The Rock push a missile on the.
I would be fine with never seeing The Rock ever again.
Nachi, no, hold on. Hobbs and Shaw, watching him tackle a helicopter is probably one of my top 10. Are you fucking serious right now? Moments I've
with
ever
the
had.
power of family.
With the power of family. Oh, okay. I can't lie. Some of that shit, it'd be wild as fuck. All right.
First of all, everything The Rock does in Fast series is unbelievable.
It's absolutely absurd.
So
Absolutely fucking absurd.
I just look at him. He's the one. He's Neo.
He is the one. He's so dumb.
Like
I
he
swear,
was
bro.
Neo. He's the one that can bend. He can bend everything, bro.
He can bend time. Dude, he can bend time and space.
You never looked at it. He just doesn't know how to fly yet. He hasn't tried.
Oh shit! I don't know. I haven't watched the newest one, so maybe he flies in this one. I don't fucking know. I don't want to know.
Yeah. At some point in this series, maybe Hobbs and Shaw 2, he'll unlock like his Hulk powers and he'll be able to jump.
We'll see his
really
final
far
form.
from building to building. No, flying is the final form, bro. He becomes Superman at some point. This is the
Jesus.
Superman origin story, bro.
Jesus.
Will like airbend the oxygen out of your lungs and collapse them.
Exactly. We're gonna figure it out, bro. Hey, you're about to see super jumps in Hobbs and Shaw 2. And then Hobbs and Shaw 3, he'll finally be flying. At that point, we'll probably be at somewhere around number 15, 20 of the Fast series. So,
Okay, I know this agreed with you on that one.
Yeah, the Fast and the Furious like storyline is going to turn out to be that like The Rock is the next coming of Christ.
No, seriously, I did hear they were actually trying to build out like a Fast universe.
Oh, I've heard that too. I've heard that as well.
Which is scary. Scary.
A little bit. No, on a serious note, like honestly, like the last couple of movies I watched just because I did watch the originals, so it had that like nostalgia, right?
Ironic appeal.
Yeah. Like I grew up watching the original, Fast and Furious, right? So now I just watch it out of like, what the blue fuck are they gonna do now? Right? Like it's not even to the point where like I can honestly say that it's something that I care about story wise or anything. It's just like, what retarded ass shit are they about to try to convince me of and fail miserably?
And his use of retarded there was not meant to be derogatory.
Oh, yeah,
It was
man.
only
Dragons,
meant
you can't use the
to
R slur, bro.
Describe the retardation of this process. So yeah, it's not to offend anyone.
No, I would bank. I'll put it like this. I would as most people would like to inform me, let a person of what's the word I'm looking
He
for?
doesn't even know.
No,
Of
I'm trying to
mental
think
disability?
of a
Is
mental
that what we're
a
going?
mental disability or something of that nature.
Special needs.
There you
There
go,
we go.
special
Special
needs. That's
needs.
what I was looking for. Right, I don't use that term very often.
I don't
Um,
either.
I would let
I'd
somebody
just
with
say
special
fucking
needs.
retarded.
I would let somebody with special needs, i.e., an autistic kid, drop the next Fast and the Furious, and it might be better.
Nah, fam.
It might be. There's a strong
The
chance.
plot of the next Fast and the Furious movie is it's going to be The Rock stealing the plans for the Death Star for the Rebel Alliance.
Son of a bitch, he's unlocked the cheat codes.
Bruh. I think that's it right there. Either that or they do a crossover with Star Trek.
Jesus.
He's gonna board SG-1.
Oh, they're gonna start racing spaceships, bruh. It's gonna slowly morph into Independence Day with Will Smith.
Oh, you dumb as hell. Nah, that's
Man,
that's
I don't even know how we got here. Oh, back to Cyberpunk Mars.
a little bit.
That was a wild tangent right there.
It'd be like that.
We went off on the rock to
Mhm.
shit. Yeah, that was a wild tangent. But no, I mean, no, I think it's dope that they're bringing in modders as actual project devs. Cause sometimes they have visions that other people don't have, man. Some people been in the business so long that they don't think outside of a box. They
Well,
know.
yeah, and they need competence.
I mean, if you could code and design, you're literally being told what to code and design.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's the higher ups that can't get the fuck out the way,
Yeah.
and they throwing all this bullshit
That's a
at you,
fair
and
point. Yeah.
you just handling it as a coder and a designer.
And
It's
except,
not it's not necessarily your job to tell them what's popping out there in the streets. You're
yeah.
providing their vision,
Yeah, and
and
it's sad to say these guys, like, I'm not saying Frank that has grinded on this fucking game for fucking God knows how long isn't as qualified as Dave, who they just brought in. But Dave's putting out
well,
content in the marketplace that people want, right? Like he sees
that's
what the people want, he's making it happen. So they're bringing those type of people in, and it's like, all right, cool. Like whether or not they fully listen to him really is the kind of like the key, right?
well, not only that, but imagine you took 3 years, drew out a storyboard, modified it, did everything. You finally got it to where you want it. Now, as a coder, I'm just coming in and I'm designing what you
Yeah,
laid out for me to design. As a modder, it's really a fresh new idea. It's maybe me optimizing a few things here and there, me seeing where your code is kind of broken and I can upgrade, implementing new tools, things like that. But to me, the best modders, the best game designers are the ones who just kind of take it and build their version of it, like
Polish
their
it.
world
Yeah.
within that world. Like I look at everybody who's modding on GTA, right?
mm-hmm.
And they've taken that game and turned it into a real role playing game where shit, the base is there. They've added their own vehicles, they've added their own payment system, they've added their own uh, infrastructure to it, and made it something totally different that it wasn't even initially designed to be. Shit opened up buildings in some cases, opened up jobs and tasks for you to do things like that. Would you, man? I ain't gonna lie. When you watch that shit, you be like, motherfuckers is really playing their role. Like them RPs is kind of crazy to me. But the things that they've done with those RPs as modders and what they've allowed to be done within the game is kind of fire.
Mm-hmm.
They just flushed out some of the ideas that were already there and made it viable, and it could be a game that could last literally as long as The Sims has. That's the type of shit that they own. The Sims is fucking undeniably just one of those games that could last forever because it's almost pointless with
Facts.
a point. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, you're not
there's a
wrong.
lot of there's a lot of shit to do, but there really ain't shit to do. So you kind of
Hey,
making
shit
it
to do.
up. Like yeah, I mean you kind of just using your imagination a bit. And in this case, shit, you get to interact with a gang of other people. However, what is it, 50 people that could fit in the lobby or whatever?
Something
Something
like
of
that.
that. Yeah, somewhere along that lines.
Something stupid. And I mean, imagine 50 people online with one way of thinking,
Mm.
basically, in a game. So I mean, it's one of those things, man, where it could be really dope. And I think in this case with Cyberpunk, you look at, well, we stayed on this course. We kind of fucked this course up. We need fresh new ideas, and I'm pretty sure them developers there is like, man, I'm tired of this shit. I'm sick of this shit
They've been
because
working on it for like 7 years or some
yeah,
shit.
anybody who's
Yeah,
been
I
on
feel
a
you.
project that long, bro, it's hard to see outside of the flaws that are already there. It's hard to start to work on what's next when you're still dealing with all the flaws that
Yeah,
are built into the game. So having fresh ideas, having fresh people come in is always a beautiful thing. And shit, when the storyboard is already laid out, those people who laid out that storyboard and approved that shit, they don't want to change until they see somebody actually build something out. They be like, damn, why didn't we think of that? And you be like, as as somebody who works in the corporate world, you always have that bitch moment. Like, I can't believe this bitch said that. I've been trying to get you to do this for 7 years, bitch.
I feel
So
it.
I mean, it's one of those things, man. Fresh ideas from outside people, man. Sometimes it gets the hardest people to budge on their idea. And when you're funding shit, you want shit to look how you want it to look, and that's sometimes it is what it is.
I'm fair.
But that's my thoughts on them bringing in the modders. Anybody else? Anybody got something different? A different opinion?
No, I mean
Or a different outlook?
mine's basically the same. Like it was smart. The reasons why vary, right? Like I can see multiple reasons why they do it. Um, but at the end of the day, like it was just smart. Um, their game's been struggling. It's a good way to when I say struggling, right? Like it's struggled since launch.
Yep.
It's like No Man's Sky, right? Like the community's the real reason why the game is even still alive.
man, no shit.
So bringing in people that have helped keep the game alive is a smart fucking move. Um, I still don't think it would convince me to play it, right? Like at this point, like I still like it, but there was just so many bugs. It's like how much of that shit have you actually addressed?
And
Like, bro, it was a
that's part of
list.
my issue too. Cause as you know, I've been playing Crackdown here,
Yeah.
and to me, Crackdown is like, I'm gonna call it the 2017 version of Cyberpunk. To me,
Mm-hmm.
you just don't power up your person the same way. You power them up different ways,
Yeah.
but kind of, I mean, very similar in what you're doing out there in the world. It's kind of recover the world for your purposes, basically.
Yeah,
But I mean, this is one of those things, man, where I don't know, fresh ideas, fresh eyes, and fix everything. that's
really can,
that's
because they'll be looking at it from. It's like you were saying about somebody that's been working on the project for so long. They almost start to look at it through a myopic lens. You know what I mean?
mhm,
That having somebody looking at it from a different angle can be like, nah, dude, this is how you should do this. you know?
yeah. And it's always good to have a fucking a sanity check, man. Just a outside perspective, man. They all outside perspective always brings in something. Cause I ain't gonna lie, when you get stuck in a room with people, man, groupthink happens, and nobody wants to be the outcast or the outlier
Mm-hmm.
for the most part. So most people, man, they just kind of
Yeah, you don't want to be
go
that
along
guy.
with it.
Yeah. Nobody wants to be that guy, right? Um, that's why like I think the like I've joked about it. I think some I've heard other people joke about it, right? Like when you have a group of people, um, you need a no man, right? Like somebody that's gonna come tell you no. and not just for the sake of doing it. Like if it's a dumb idea, you need somebody that's got the testicular fortitude to be like, nah, bro, no, that's stupid. Like we cool, but that's stupid, guy.
Earlier today, I heard if you can't tell somebody to go to hell, then you can't negotiate.
It's not wrong because that's part of a negotiation. Like if the terms are bad for you, you don't just accept them to just accept them.
Exactly.
That's redundant. So yeah, it's it's interesting. Like it's pretty cool that they did it, but again, it's like to what end is it actually doing something is the $1,000,000 question. That's one of those only time will tell type things. But it is cool to see it happen and know that it's like, all right, well, at least one company's out there like seemingly trying to do something worth a fuck, right? Like, I won't say it's like groundbreaking or anything, absurd, but it's like, it's like, all right, cool. Like, we got somebody out here, trying to throw a monkey wrench in the system and make stuff pop. Like, it's not the first time, like, a company's went out and hired a modder or hacker for shit, right? But seeing a game company hire some of its modders instead of being like, throw them in the slammer because they're touching our game. It's you know what I mean? Like, it's nice.
Yeah, that's man. I get a bad feeling. That's how this fucking That's how broccoli's gonna go. Throw them in a slammer because they're touching that game. As they migrate over to Unreal, 5, I believe, is what they're migrating to.
They want to.
It's gonna be a bunch of people kicking and screaming with whatever they put out. Well, however they do it, whenever they do it, there's gonna be a shitload of people kicking and screaming.
For me, it's like 50-50 because it's almost like they understand to a degree that that's the direction that people want them to go though, and they're making it happen. It's like you're going Unreal for the modders, right? Like some of the appeal that you get from it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of moving is like, of course, you get other small things out of it, right? Like more stable game, blah blah blah, easier to fucking this, that, and other. But like it's because we literally can't add modded shit ourselves into the game, and that's something that people have been like every fucking message board you see. That's what they want.
Yeah.
So it'd be almost stupid, right? To be like, oh, because you got to think like, look at, oh, what's his face? He was a player. I can't remember his name now. He does all the modded maps that are like real weird and shit.
Left? Are you talking about Left?
Yeah. If you're gonna throw all the modders into Slammer, like you're basically taking somebody like Leth and just being like, we really don't give a fuck about what you do.
I mean, but they've treated Left pretty much as we don't give a fuck about what you do. I mean, you say that, but there's modders currently existing in this realm, and they're putting out great content.
Well, yeah.
The content doesn't go to everyone; it's still just gonna go to PC. So I don't really see what going to. Don't get me wrong; it'll be easier to. It's a much easier and
because
freer flowing.
That's just it. If they go to Unreal and like they do the other things, like it'll be able to be ported. Like it'll be not only part of Steam Workshop, but it'll be stuff that if it's in the Steam Workshop, then you can start integrating it to the game because now they can get the files without having to like contact, some quote unquote random modder, right? Like once it becomes a part of the ecosystem, it's easier to access and move. And I think that's one of the things that is like a benefit of moving.
Yeah.
If I understood that right. And again, that's all assuming what I read was appropriate, but it's just a lot of like Unreal 3's limitations was really just the inability to facilitate like a lot of the newer concepts. You know what I mean? And if it fixes that, then it's just it opens up a lot of doors, right? That not only from like their standpoint, but for like modders, our
Yeah.
ability. Because like one of the biggest issues is like you can have a modded map, but you're the only person that can really fuck with it, right?
Oh, as far as tweaking it, yeah.
Well, not only that, like, but like I've got to go to the workshop and get it, and then like when I say you're the only one, like it's hard to do like other things outside of like have a handful of friends join your modded game. So like if you've only got a couple of friends that play Rocket League, then there's just three of you playing on a modded map, and it's like, oh, what fun is that, right? That's one of the issues that
Well, I mean, if you're dealing with modded maps, this is the thing. I mean, with most modded anything, it's not necessarily a part of the game. So
yeah
trying to do things online with it and share it amongst community is not so easy. So you're basically you're operating outside of the system
yeah
already. And that's just I mean that's the nature of it. So yeah, no, it's not as fun as
yeah
something that naturally occurs in the game because you get to play it against the world as opposed to playing it with a group of people that you can convince to play it with you.
and
So competition wise, it's not the same, but that's only because there's no support for it. There's no
yeah.
path for taking something left. And don't get me wrong, not everything Lethamere creates or these
Oh no
these
no 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 no
content
no no
creators create is dope.
no no no.
But
I completely
in
understand. I've
in a
seen some
lot
of
of
it.
in a lot of instances, they hitting on 5 out of 20, which
Yeah
to me is fucking good.
yeah, and that's the
And
thing is I think with the addition, if they do go to five, is that it's easier to acclimate it into the game where players, so you could do like a private match and like kind of how you can like host a private match and just random ass people can join, like elements like that you can't do right now because of how it has to be done, right? And ain't
I
nobody
mean,
trying to go add 55 people on their friends list just to play Leth's beer
that's
pong mode.
That's the thing, man. I don't. To be honest with you, I'm speaking from inexperience, so I don't know how hard it is to port these things or to support these things. Um, but in my opinion, it shouldn't be very difficult. If we're seeing shit that able to be done through Bacchus mod, through coding with Lethamere, Lethamere's made some. He's come through with some pretty decent maps, some pretty great game modes. Um, I've seen goal explosions. I remember when goal explosions first came out, and the modders version of goal explosions was way better
Well,
than
see,
what they were actually giving us.
yeah, and that's the thing though, is like Leth is using outside software to make things out. You know how Bacchus mod works, right? So you know how
Yeah,
like only if you have it do you see it type of thing.
correct.
And that's part of the issue, right? Is people want the ability to do that within Rocket League, right? Like so that even goes for like a lot of the maps, right? Um I can't I think Lawler and there was another person it might have been Sunless, I don't know. But they were playing on a modded map and I think the one Sunless played on it was like 10v10 or some shit like real soccer, right? Is what they called it.
Yeah.
And it was like it was just we couldn't do it the way we wanted to do it because it just wouldn't let us. And I'm like, okay, like they don't go into like great detail of what's limiting them a
Well,
lot of times, but
there's a lot of limiting factors
yeah.
in that. So 10v10, I mean, either you're increasing the map size
Oh yeah, the
or
map was
you're
massive.
okay. So you made a massive map. So now you've got to host it. I mean, there's optimization things that would have to occur. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe they could make bigger maps and all those
Yeah.
things and have it optimized and have it load and still work with the server and
Yeah,
not be glitchy
I think
because
what it was
that's a lot of information to have to keep up with.
I think what it was is like it ended up being like the the game doesn't support more than X amount of people in the lobby.
Uh,
So it's like you just couldn't do it just because the game literally won't let you. Like at the end of the day, it's just like no. If I recall right, I might be wrong though, but I remember it was something game side that was just like, nah, you can't do that.
I don't know. I'm interested to see what they'll do, and I'm curious how long it'll fucking take. Um, because
No,
are we talking? Is this a 3-year project, 5-year project?
no in Rocket
Yeah,
League.
that's my point. That you see where I started at 3 years, and that's
Like this,
and
it takes a
that's
hot minute.
and again, like I always like to say, man, this shit is gonna go back to money. What's the financial benefit?
True.
So as a consumer, and this is why I'm just trying to prepare people, man. As a consumer, if you're not looking at the final cost of what this thing should be and who's paying for it, like how are we paying for it? Because they don't want to take away from income revenue that's already there. The project needs to be funded basically by the gamers. So we're
Help
getting
to
a
the gamers.
conversion. So we're getting a conversion. What are they getting? Like where does the money come from? Because I wouldn't want to go out and build a project car if I knew there was no money coming behind it. I'm
Yeah.
relying on the money that my the base model was already generating. No, you don't go out and do that. And this is a free to play game, so again, where's the money gonna come from? Are they gonna now have more ads in game? If you're on free to play version, I'm curious. Are they gonna force everybody to now download the update from or the updated version of 1.5 version from Epic, and you can only play through your Epic? I mean, well, something has to happen. I just don't see companies don't do shit for free. Let's just say it that way.
Well, yeah. I
And
mean, I
and
understand
and
that.
we're all looking at this as, oh, they're just gonna migrate this game to that platform, and if that entails, that's gonna they're hiring people, so we know that takes money.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. Is like I think they're already on the battle pass game wagon, right? Like I think it'll just get worse in that kind of like to get it.
My question is, where do they recoup those funds at? So you think it's all gonna be we just gonna continue to get money off of battle pass
Eh, well,
as
Android knows like you play Android, you play Dauntless. I think it's almost an identical model to Fortnite, right? Where like
The
half of it's through like
aesthetically, yeah.
yeah, half of it's through like a quote unquote pass, kind of like how we have in Rocket League, but then the quote unquote shop to where it has exclusive items that you can only get through paying money.
Oh yeah, but they're all cosmetic, and that's how they get away with it.
Yeah, and it works because both of those games
It
were
sure
free to
does.
play, and people have dumped money, and it's just like Jesus. And it doesn't sound like when I say it, I'm like, how does that work? But fuck, have they made
I
money?
hate it, bro. I hate it.
Yeah, they've made so much fucking money doing that. It's absurd.
so
I hate
again,
that business model. It
I'm
sucks.
I'm gonna ask you this
Mhm.
question. So do you think there'll be a Fortnite 2, or do you think they'll just take the same Fortnite and just continue to build on it
I think they're gonna
forever?
beat the Fortnite till it's dead.
Till it's dead.
So you don't think they'll ever move to a Fortnite 2?
Maybe if they start losing players, but I think as long as their fan base supports it, that they're never gonna. They have no reason to. They, if it
So
works, don't. If
so
it ain't broke, don't fix it. Right?
so let's say it's still playable, but it becomes outdated. Do they move it then?
It's been outdated.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like, I'm
it
not
was
trying to be mean. I'm not trying
the
to talk
design
shit.
of it was meant to be what it is. So
Right. Well, nah. I don't know. I think as long as they have a player base to support it, they're not gonna fuck with it
so,
too much.
so I'm looking at Rocket League, right? And I'm just trying to apply the same methodologies and thinking that you two are, right? So the player base is what it's gonna be. They're making money hand over fist. Rocket League is doing both of those two things. The
Mhm.
esport is bubbling. It is what it's gonna be. But now for free, We're just gonna upgrade the game.
Right. Well, and I don't see, or I won't say that they won't ever like try to update it or like upgrade it, right? Like graphically or move it onto a new old engine, right?
Yeah.
But whatever. I don't think they'll make a Fortnite 2 unless they start losing
Well,
a
and
player
then,
base
yeah,
because they don't want to divide the player base, right?
yeah, because the player base for Fortnite is the player base for Fortnite, right? Like you have your
Right.
diehards that got pissed when they nuked the world the first time in that fucking game. Like that pissed a lot of people off. So
It did because they couldn't play it for like a week.
Well, yeah, I was
Yeah.
about to say they did it in like the weirdest and worst fucking way possible.
Yeah,
I thought it was cool.
yeah. I mean,
And I don't even play the shit.
Everybody thought it was cool until you couldn't play for like 4 days.
Well, that's what
and
I'm
nobody
saying. I
knew what
don't
the
play
fuck
the
was
shit,
going
so
on.
I thought it was cool.
There was a moment where it looked like Fortnite just ended. Like
yeah,
Yeah, it was like good.
were
Go
lawsuits
outside.
popping up,
yeah.
and then Fortnite just kind of they ended their season, and the game just kind of sat in limbo. Like, now what?
But even still, like it's a lot of like a lot of the smaller games do wild shit just for the sake of doing, like, Fortnite doing that, wild shit just for shits and giggles. It seems like, right? But it's like what what they've done so far isn't like anything groundbreaking. Their fan base doesn't want a different Fortnite. Like their fan base doesn't want anything besides more dumb shit like random
Kratos.
Yeah, they want Kratos or Spider-Man in the game.
Kratos Fortnite dancing
I just
makes
want
me
to know
cry.
what is it that Rocket League players are asking for?
Quite a few changes.
The only thing we truly want is servers that are accurate. That's it. Better connection.
But like I said, even Fortnite players aren't really because most of your Fortnite player base, and again, I understand the correlation between the Fortnite player base and the Rocket League player base, but the Rocket League player base most of the time takes the game a little more seriously than Fortnite. So yeah, we want the availability to play the game at its peak, where Fortnite players literally want just Thanos shaking his ass, and they will sit in the lobby doing that.
Nah, I think you're looking at it from a kid's perspective versus
yes, because
gamers. There's gamers
because only children play Fortnite.
No, yeah, because that's the way you making it sound.
No, because
like
the biggest
you just want dances and people shaking their ass. That's literally what you just said.
Yeah,
that's the
because
way you
the biggest.
That's all Fortnite is.
Yeah, because the biggest chunk of their player base is that. You can say it's not, but it is. I understand they have their esports shit and it does okay. But the biggest chunk of where their money comes from is the kids buying the Thanos for fucking $5 or the Spider-Man for $5. It's not
V-Bucks.
It's not Dave who's competing in Fortnite Grand Open. He's using just some generic ass looking skin because that's all they'll let him use, right? Because they're trying to keep it fair. So he's not buying that day, and like most of the time he's not going to spend his money on that unless some kid comes to his Twitch stream.
You are out of your fucking mind if you think the highest level players aren't streaming and promoting every piece of everything that they're putting.
Well, yeah, that's not the point.
Yeah, that's not what I was
saying.
I was literally just about to say that
the same thing is happening in Rocket League, though. That's what we're saying is because if you look at a Squishy Muffin's car when he plays in game, that shit is the most basic, generic thing that's out there. But when you look at his content that he creates for YouTube, he's using every variant of the car. He uses decals. He uses wheels, goal explosions, all of that shit. He literally goes through every time that there's a new car. I think except for this Dingo, he goes through. He plays a few games with it and gives basically a rating on it. He's selling the content. The kids are eating it up. We literally had fucking Titanium White Lone Wolf become popping, bruh, which is the most basic, stupid ass, generic ass decal.
Yes, because two or three pros said something about it, and then everybody went ape shit. Not all the pros bought it. Not everybody. That's what I'm getting at. Like, yes, you do have people pushing XYZ, but again, it's not all of the pros. Like, if you want to know what the pros are pushing, is the shit that's like 2 G's that you can't find because it's exactly that. Like they do the lone wolf because they think it's a meme, and they've like Rizzo's come out and said it. He was like, dude, the lone wolf thing was such a fucking joke. Most of them are like older kids as of that time, right? Like Rizzo, Leth, all them, they're 18, 19, 20 year olds, right? They're doing stuff just to be fucking assholes.
Yeah.
Right? Like they're
I'm 22 and I still do shit just to be an asshole. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
like
I'm just a big kid.
yeah, like
But they,
you'll go
but they,
tell
but you're also talking about kids who understand their marketing value.
again,
Well, fair enough.
I'm not debating that, but again, what I'm saying is like the lone wolf thing went up because a lot of the people that did watch him were kids, right? But again,
Correct.
then you have people like me, you, some of the older audience, you know, like that weren't buying that because you did have pros, like I said, that they rock what they rock, right?
But
Like,
by and large, the customer base is not us. We're not the customer base for Rocket League. The customer base is really right around that 10, 11, 12, 14 through probably about 22. That's really the true customer base.
Yeah, I think
We're the
my
Oldforth
whole
and anomalies, but I mean, the people who are out there actively purchasing things are the kids. They are begging their parents to put credits on their account so they could buy new decals every
well,
month
that's
at
what I'm getting
five
at. Like
and
that,
$15.
right,
that's
exactly.
what
But the same thing. But I'm saying the same thing is happening in Rocket League. So we're literally saying the same thing, but I'm saying what's the financial benefit to jump to a new system?
that's the difference, though. Like they have the
Exactly.
money from the kids pushing it, right? Like whatever. But the people that like are on the Reddit, the Twitter, and all the other shit, most of them are the older audience that want the bigger changes. And Rocket League understands that when we decide to make the purchase, we equal up, right, to what the kids do most of the time.
No,
No.
I would have to disagree.
So me and you haven't spent an insane amount of money in Rocket League.
Oh,
Like an absurd.
definitely. When the content was $1 for a pop, yeah.
That's what
How
I'm
much
getting
have
at.
you spent? So since it switched to Epic, how much money have you spent? Less than $100?
Probably pretty easily. I probably spent maybe
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 $100 in the last 2 years.
possibly. I'm trying
That's
to
my
think.
point. Like you've probably bought maybe a car, maybe a set of wheels, maybe a package that's
Yeah,
$20.
but you're comparing this last 2 years since Epic to the first 2 years before that, where me and you've joked
Well,
about it more than once.
well,
Like we understand it was only $1, but you were still buying $10 to $20 a pop. Like
oh,
we weren't just buying
definitely.
a single dollar. We were going out there 20, you know, $10, $20 a pop. And like we would get stuff that we could flip because yes, like, again, I know what
But
you're trying to
you
say.
so I'm looking at current. So you're going based off an old crate model that's why we bought into it. Now the model is you can purchase that item directly in front of you as long as you have it in your inventory or blueprint,
Mhm.
or you can get the blueprint, right? And you're gonna spend it's whatever to get the blueprint. If you played and stumbled into it, then it's free plus the 5 to 20. I think the top is like $22, maybe $27.
No, it's 27 because it's if you have the specialist and
Titanium
iron
white.
bullshit.
Yeah. Okay. So since it's gone over to that model, have you been? I haven't really spent any money.
No, and but we're taking like especially me and you, we had access to the crate
But
system and the trading system, but me and you worked off the ebb and flow. There was people that were paying $100 for some of these fucking skins. Granted, it was on the backside, blah blah blah. There was still people dumb enough to do it.
I look, I was an active trader, so I seen what the market looked like. I seen what trading was like. I seen what purchases looked like. I seen what drove those purchases. Now the scene is completely different to me. As it's there has to be some anomaly that comes along, i.e., the dingo, that fuels people to want to have it, and availability has to be basically zero. Once they put it out there for everybody to have it, then it kills the secondhand market for sales. So, I,
And
to me,
that's been their business model, is to make sure the secondhand market was behind their, right. Like they tried to say they didn't want to kill the trading market, but we both know that was a damn lie.
yeah, but even so, this new trading market, people are trading blueprints when it's the super desirable items. So whereas I can make $3 off a blueprint that you still have to go out and pay for, but nobody, like, it's happening at a far slower and lower rate than what it was
Well, yeah, because nobody wants to pay for
before.
something twice, technically.
Exactly. But my thing is when you were purchasing crates, spending that dollar to get a mystery item was worth it. And then you could take that mystery item, whatever it was, no matter what, you could package it up and send it out with other items and trade up. That shit ain't happening that same way no more.
Well, yeah, because
There's a there's a
that whole
finite
system's
dollar
completely
amount.
different now.
Correct. There's a finite dollar amount for everything. There's really no mystery in what things should cost. So I mean, when I look at it, I, maybe I'm wrong, and the sales have increased since they've switched over. And the reason I say that is because it switched over once they became Epic. So I'm looking at Epic's business model because this is what they were forced into. They can't do crate loot systems. They had to do away with all of that. So now, to me, I think the money is not the same, but the only people who was really spending it would be kids. The price went up for those children. But I just don't see where the benefit would be to build out a new game, the same exact game, new platform. So you spent new money to make the same money?
Right. But and that was kind of my point is like I don't I think with Rocket League there's not as much of a player base, so they want to draw more people in, right? And whereas with Fortnite, they can completely sustain it and not worry about it because whatever, they can it is what it is. It's a multi-million dollar conglomerate or whatever, and why would they want to divide their fan base and why would they want to waste the time and resources on building out a new game until it's just old and outdated, or until people quit playing it, right? Like that's just the way that I look at it.
I guess. I mean, I hate to go back and forth with hypotheticals because that's all we're doing right now, and
Well, right.
and that is kind of what the show is. But I personally, I just don't see it. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe what we, what people discovered and stumbled upon for Rocket League was the setup for Rocket League 2. As
Right.
I don't see a financial benefit in keeping
Well, I
the
mean,
initial
even
Rocket
still,
League.
if they do Rocket League 2, I don't see them making us pay for it.
I didn't say that they would, but it's a new game, new platform, and we're moving it over as opposed to
Well,
taking everything that you already own, porting it over to this new platform. You keep all the shit that you liked and had, and we'll hope that you like some of the new content that we create.
again, I think that's where the risk outweighs like the reward if you're trying to rebuild a whole new game, because now you're hoping that I like your game. And if I don't, you know, it's one of those like, are you willing to ostracize the player base that you had for a hope?
Or do nothing.
Right. And I think and this may be a bit of a hot take, but I think Rocket League requires more skill than Fortnite. Not to say that Fortnite is absolutely just whatever, it's not dead brain, right?
Yeah, no,
Like
no,
it
no.
does require a level of skill to play, but I just
Yeah,
personally think Rocket League is a lot more techy. It's a lot more mechanics based. So I think it stands to reason to me that the player base would take a look at that and be like, nah, this is how we can improve that. And that's kind of what they're doing by coming out with Rocket League 2, trying to improve upon some of that foundation. Whereas with Fortnite, for the most part, there may be like things that they can improve upon, but the player base is mostly happy with the way that it is, right? And that's just kind of how I look at it.
I mean, I don't know. I just don't. I'm always curious about what the benefit is. That what are we gaining? What are we
Right.
gaining
Exactly.
versus cost benefit?
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily think there needs to be a Rocket League 2, don't get me wrong, but I can see a little bit more merit in making one as opposed to making Fortnite 2, right?
I mean, I guess, but at some point, Fortnite will become old and decrepit, and
Well, I agree, and I think they eventually will after a while when it comes to that point, but I just don't see it right now,
was
right?
was there ever like a CS:GO 2?
No, and that's a point. That's a good point. There was
Yeah,
an Arma 2 though.
I mean, but CS:GO has sustained for however many years.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, because people are just happy with it, and that's kind of my point too. Is that
I mean,
unless
but
people just aren't happy with it anymore the way that it is. But even then, it's CS:GO and Arma 2 encouraged community modding.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's a little different as opposed to Fortnite, which doesn't.
Rocket League kind of supports it. It
Exactly.
it supports community modding.
But
So yeah,
CS:GO has undergone quite a few variations. I wouldn't say like
They ported it to a whole nother, an upgraded version of a an engine
I
of a
don't think they
gaming engine.
upgraded it from a different gaming engine, but I know that they've done a lot of work on a bunch of stuff on the back end. But
So that's
I think that's where the difference is like a lot of the things that the Rocket League community asked for can't be done on this. As where CS:GO like a lot of the player base wanted it to stay that way. You see what I'm saying? Like they weren't asking for X, Y. Like a lot of the wild shit that happens in CS:GO is what people like about CS:GO.
you took away my surfing.
Yeah, like they don't. It's kind of like if they took away some of the physics models in Rocket League, like it would almost break the game for us, right? So we definitely don't want them to change that, right? Because it almost make
mhm.
it impossible to play for us. And I think that's what CS:GO players like. Their main thing was like bug fixes. Um,
That's what all Rocket. That's what most of Rocket League players are asking for. They're pretty much tired of them. Most of the older ones, the pros, the higher ups, they're asking for fixes to the system. The whole shit with Sis being banned was because he was so pissed at Rocket League's shitty game,
uh huh.
their shitty servers, specifically for West Coast players. But that's not the fix that they're going with. They're going to port the game to a new engine
Yeah, because Rocket League's
because that's
renowned for not listening to its player base on the issues that it really wants and doing things it thinks will make it just make you forget about it. That's why I see this going through. Rocket League's the don't pay
so
attention to the band behind the curtain looking ass.
so so the
I'm
thought is that
serious.
so the thought is that they're going to port this game over to Unreal 5 and they're banking on players spending more money on drops and loot
I,
because
like I said,
they
because I don't.
gave.
Well, that's what you're asking questions I don't have the answer to because we don't know what they're
I'm
looking to do. And
I'm
what I'm
saying
saying is they're playing.
hypothetically,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're gonna. What has Rocket League done? Right? They've
they've
done nothing
they've
besides make mediocre content, which still takes time and money and energy. That a lot of people, again, some of it is being bought, right? But you don't see as many of the new goal explosions unless they're certain XYZ goal explosion, right?
bro.
Or you
Them
see a
shits is
pro.
20. They are ranging from $20 to $27 a pop.
I know.
So seeing them in the wild, unless it's something so radically different, is gonna be minimal.
Yeah, but that's what I'm getting at. They're still trying to put that shit out to get you to forget about Oh, hey, we still haven't fixed our servers. Oh, the other shit we promised you, we still haven't fixed that either.
But these are all things that they could fix within this new, within this same.
Well,
same
right.
Again,
so they're just like, fuck it.
That's what I'm getting at. Like they're looking at ways of giving you shit without giving you shit. When I say that they want to, if they port it to Unreal, they're just like, here, modders have it. Is the way I kind of see it. And it's like, here's something to distract you for another 2 fucking years. That's the cycle that we kind of go on. Right? One of our last biggest updates that had some, I guess, sustenance was the one before the tournaments update and the tournaments update, right? That's the last time they've really introduced some shit that I can think of that was groundbreaking. And since then, it's been the same old shit. We're fixing some shit. Hey, look, a mode that you played 85 times because we don't like to come up with new modes. And, oh, look, some more fucking Rocket Pass shit that's getting worse. Keep purchasing our Rocket Pass, though.
I just don't see.
Yeah, but don't quit.
Yeah, no, quit.
I don't see it. So I'm curious. In my opinion, I think we may be looking at Rocket League 2.
I think so too.
Well, again, what's the benefit? It's no different than you're saying. What's the benefit? But what's the benefit? Because, like I said, I don't think they're charging us for it. So what's the benefit? Because if they change the game, they're losing a huge chunk of their player base. Like if they change anything,
sweeping shit under the rug.
I mean, honestly, I don't know. I don't see the benefit. That's been my whole thing. I don't see.
It might just be as asinine as Overwatch 2, and that's still a thing that's happening. You know,
you're not wrong.
Just saying, you know, not saying that it needs to happen. I'm just saying I could see that.
So what they could do is they could force you out of Rocket League 1. Start dwindling down all those servers from Rocket League.
Shutting down Destiny 1 servers.
Push you over to Rocket League 2. Same game, similar game. Physics, still physics based. They may add in newer hitboxes. They may add in shit that doesn't really matter to the game. But they could sell it to you.
But they're going to take away all of your hard-earned shit.
Pretty much.
If they drop Rocket League 2 and they said it was better servers, basically an upgrade to everything that Rocket League 1 was, and you're still same basic gameplay as Rocket League 1, are you porting over?
No.
But fuck your ranks and fuck your skins and fuck everything else. Yeah, that was my issue with Destiny 2, is that's what they did when they shut down the servers for Destiny 1. It didn't let you port over any of your fucking exotics.
So when they shut down these servers, are you switching to Rocket League 2?
Probably not. Because there won't be a world that I believe that the game has better servers. You're not convincing me. There's no world where I believe that Rocket League gave enough of a fuck to fix their servers, because they've had this long to do it, and now they have epic money and they still can't do it. And you're trying to tell me you have to be on Rocket League 2 for the better servers? Then that means you could have fixed it the whole time, and now you're just you've took all my money and told me to fuck off and die and spend more. Yeah, that's how you lose me as a customer. Yeah. No.
Deadass.
What?
Because
you've been doing it for years, though, for every other game. What are you talking about?
Well, no, because your only change is that you're promising me better servers, which I know I will not get. If the servers are better, yes.
How many times have you bought Call of Duty?
Recently?
No, just over your life.
I bought
enough to learn his lesson.
COD 4.
How long did it take for you to learn your lesson? So you've been buying COD almost every year to 2 years since 2000 and maybe 10?
No. Because before this last COD, I hadn't played a COD since Black Ops 3. Like, I skipped.
That's the last one that I played too.
I skipped a whole lot of them.
I did as well. Why'd you skip those ones?
After I liked the Black Ops series, Black Ops 3, it left me wanting a lot. And then, what was it? It was like Modern Warfare 3. I think.
Modern Warfare 3 sucked a fat dick.
Basically, is that game just it wasn't
Optimized at all, and the
it wasn't
story fucking
optimized,
sucked.
and then like I've seen people play Ghost. I played Ghost at people's houses, and I'm like, this
Ghost
is not
sucked a
fun.
fat dick too.
And Black Ops 3, when they started like introducing some of the other elements that I didn't care for, I was just like, nah. If this is where we're going, I don't.
So I'm pretty sure you backed out for the same reason I backed out of Call of Duty. It started becoming a game that was so similar to other Halo-esque
Yeah.
games that it
Yeah,
lost
they
the
made it into
essence of
Quake.
what you love about Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm.
So you backed out. Once they returned to a format that fit the format that you like, you bought right back into it. And then you found the flaw that you realized I no longer really like this game that way. I don't mind running around in circles for a little bit, but I'm not gonna spend $60 to do it. You
I would.
play
I wouldn't go that far. The base game I enjoyed more than I did
then
Warzone most of the time. I'm
understandable.
one of the exceptions. Most people
But
bought it for the Warzone.
no, Warzone is free.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like they bought in for Warzone. That's what I'm getting at. Like they bought into the product for Warzone, not for
Yeah,
the
the
original.
idea of the product, right?
Yeah. I'm not saying they purchased it. It's just they bought into Call of Duty again because
Exactly.
of Warzone.
But I'm not speaking about everybody. I'm speaking about you.
No,
So that's
yeah, that's what I'm
that's why
getting at.
what I just said. So that's why. But you're not. So you bought Call of Duty. What was it? Damn, I don't even know the names anymore. Modern Warfare. What was it? Modern Warfare. Yeah, it was just Modern Warfare. And then you bought the
Oh,
new
yeah.
Black Ops as well.
Which one?
The Call of Duty Black Ops. What is it? 4 or Cold War? You bought Cold War?
No,
Why not? It's the exact same game as Modern Warfare.
because of that.
Exactly.
But that's my point. There was a time when you would just buy it relentlessly because it came out.
No,
Now
because at the time
Yeah,
it was
that
still
format
different.
is old and dead to you,
It
right?
was a different game. That what? No,
It was a different game when.
it had been different since fucking
Okay,
Infinity
so you're
War
gonna tell
dissolved.
me that World at War and Black Ops 1 are the same game? I mean, the zombies are relatively the same, but even that is still like a bit different. The thing is that they used to implement a bit of ingenuity into the game rather than just being like, okay, yeah, we're gonna tell you the same shit over and over. It's no better than like NBA.
Maybe y'all played a different version of Call of Duty than I did, but the Call of Duties that I played basically all had 3 to maybe 4 paths, small map style, run in circles, and shoot each other. That's it. There's 3 lines to get to your
Well,
enemy.
yeah, there's a
okay,
basic
hold on,
form.
wait,
That's
wait,
the
wait.
basic
But based on that
formula
logic-
for any shooter, though.
But based on that logic, then why'd you stop playing them at all? Because all they did was when they introduced the Halo shit was a minute level. Because I remember their whole selling point for that fucking game was verticality. But it was basically
Yeah.
the same thing, just run around in a circle, shoot people. So why'd you quit playing for all those years? Because
The
it was literally that.
verticality was not interesting to me. It felt like I just went back to Halo. It felt like I took a step backwards.
But at the same time,
that shit
if the
didn't
game was
interest me.
identical to the other ones, and it was still just running around and shooting them in circles, then it should have been no different.
Running around shooting people in circles bored the shit out of me.
So, I may be the exception here, but I used to play Call of Duty for the campaigns, and after the campaigns, quit, and then I'd get into the multiplayer, just to keep playing it. But after the campaigns quit being good, I quit playing it.
Fair enough.
Yeah. But most people who stuck around for Call of Duty wasn't because of the campaign. The reason that it was even, to me, purchasable multiple years in a row was one, community. Gameplay didn't really matter. We just really wanted new maps to go whoop people's ass on. And then that became boring to me. Because there were these other style of shooters that came out. There was a PUBG that came out that interested me. It piqued my interest in a different way. So that's really where I stopped playing Call of Duty, because there were different style shooters that did similar things but in a different way. I got tired of the 3 path to get to your enemy. So for me, PUBG was like, oh, take GTA, make it a shooter. No brainer. I want to play that.
Yeah.
It was hard for me to go back to Call of Duty. Call of Duty basically had to build out PUBG in their world, and then I was like, you know what? I would play that. That's the only reason I went back. Community,
Feels.
my community was there already, and then they built something that I figured, man, I probably like that. And even then, I waited a year because they dropped a version. They dropped a open world map first. I waited. I still continued to play PUBG at that point. Watching my homeboy play it, it was like, oh shit! It's the nostalgia of Call of Duty mixed with PUBG. The easy use of weapons from Call of Duty mixed with PUBG. That's the only reason I went back to Call of Duty. Yeah, we played a little bit. We got kind of forced into playing the old style version because we had to wait for the PUBG style open world. So
Yeah,
that's
fair
the
enough, I
reason I
guess.
went back and I bought into the second. I bought into Cold War and almost never played it ever.
Yeah, no, fuck that.
Like I probably got less than a day's worth of playtime on Black Ops Cold War because that shit bored me. The 3 path lane got boring quick as fuck. But the playability, it's a much easier game to play than PUBG.
Agreed, agreed. And it's not like there's no most people in
But
today's day and age already know how to play Call of Duty, so there's not much barrier to entry there, and there's not
but
as much like advanced mechanic.
again, the reason that I was willing to purchase that game year after year is because they at that time were selling me a product that I enjoyed. I enjoyed playing it with my friends. I enjoyed community. I was good at it. And so I was willing to year after year purchase the same game reskinned year after year. And all of us were. Because if you bought fucking everything from fucking what is it, Modern Warfare 4 through shit, I wanna say Black Ops 3 was you running around in a circle doing the exact same things on different maps.
For the most part, as far as the multiplayer goes, for sure.
And we were happy with that content until we were no longer happy with that content. We had to see a whole different idea put into the world and dolled up to look like something.
But again, I don't see your point in how that correlates to Rocket League and why I would
So
buy
when,
Rocket League 2. Because I'm not happy with the game state and I'm not happy playing it most of the time.
why? Why aren't you happy playing it?
Because I don't enjoy it like I did.
If you
Because
were
it
advancing, would you enjoy it the same?
was I
If
if what
you were not stuck, if you were not stuck at your current rank, would you be still enjoying it the same?
mm, no, because it's starting to feel like work. Because I have to try that hard to continue to progress. And at that point, then I have nothing to work for. So no, I'd be kind of bored.
So it's easy use is not there for you. Is what it is.
It's not easy use. It's just it's literally not. It's burnout. Like it's not exciting to me because it's like I go hit some cool shot, but at the same time, like I don't care that I hit the cool shot at a certain point anymore. Now I want to win, and it's to the point where like that game, all I play it for is like being competitive, and unless I'm playing with you, Bib, and maybe Wolf, right?
Hmm.
I really don't want to play with randoms because we're gonna end up losing. And like I said, it becomes the point where I've realized that I'm having to try hard. I'm not enjoying like I don't go for wild crazy shit for just going for wild crazy shit's sake anymore.
So
So
basically, so at this point in the game, you're pretty much done with the game already. So you're not really even a customer of theirs anymore. at this point.
50-50.
So,
Like
so,
I don't.
so using you as the model, either
Well,
they're gonna build something out. Let me just finish it. They're either gonna build something out that you're really gonna love, or they're gonna build something out that you're gonna abandon. Right?
pretty much.
So if there's no financial benefit on either side of that for them, then what's the point of porting it?
Because I'm one of the few
Instead of
exceptions.
building out a second game where there's a mystery to that second game. You don't necessarily know what you're getting. Currently, you know exactly what you got. If I just take that and upgrade it to this new system and you hate it, then I
But
lose you regardless. You're already halfway out the door at this point.
but you're assuming that
And
I have to
and
purchase the
nothing.
game to figure this new found stuff out. Like I can sit there and play the old version for 6 months after the new one drops and just watch Twitch streams and be like, oh yeah, that's trash. Because that's the world we live in now.
That's a possibility, but at the same time, you'll also get people who are just already bought into the system.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying that I'm not, but that's what I'm getting at. Is like, for me, that's why I'm saying, like, you posed a question, if they came out with another one, would I just whatever? Probably not, because if the only thing you're promising me is new servers, then at this point I don't care, because the servers isn't part of the issue for me.
But that's
Well, and that's
because
kind of what I was getting
it's
at
so-
earlier with the mechanics thing, right? In terms of it being like, if they're going to make a second one, I can see them doing it to upgrade the mechanic technical aspect of the game in the first place, because of people like you guys that might view it as stagnant after a while. You know what I mean?
It's a physics-based game. There's only so much that you're going to be able
Yeah.
to do. With
And like,
those physics.
and,
I mean,
and,
fair
and, and I
enough,
don't want
but-
them to. I don't necessarily want them to change anything. Like his proponent of them having better servers would be the
Could happen-
one of the few
Could happen
things.
today. Yeah,
yeah.
because I know what would sell you.
But at the same time, like, it's
as far
not,
as a larger customer base, what I'm saying is the curiosity of dropping Rocket League 2, you would get more people to purchase it, even if it was only $10, $20. People would purchase it just because I'm currently playing Rocket League. I love Rocket League. Fuck it.
maybe.
Let's see what the new one is like.
Like I said, I don't think you understand like how many like second versions that people are seeing come out, being like Overwatch 2, it's just a reskinned Overwatch. Like things like that are happening more now, and people are being a little more
Growing a little wise to it.
yeah. I like I said,
Bruh.
for me,
Bruh, hold on. Battlefield 2042 is a fucking reskin version of Battlefield, and we love it.
it's not.
But it has
okay.
weather components and
I mean, if-
destructible buildings.
Now you're just trying to argue
Right.
semantics for the sake of arguing semantics.
I mean, but that's essentially what we're doing, right?
No, because you're trying to sell me on like that. Oh, if they did this, you would buy this. It's like no, because XYZ, and then you're like no, because this. It's like it's different. Battlefield is reskinned, yes. Has different elements, yes. It wasn't just like oh hey, here's a new game, but literally nothing's changed except we've lightly upgraded the physics.
Well,
Or
I don't know.
lightly.
I don't know what they could change in Rocket League. I don't. My mind isn't thinking of everything that could possibly change.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But you're
for
telling
them
me
to start working on it, to port it over to a new system, and to leave it as Rocket League 1, I'm telling you, doesn't sound financially like a good move.
it sounds no different than Rocket League 2. Because if you're not it like when I heard about Overwatch 2, because this is what I'm trying to tell you. When I heard about Overwatch 2, it's literally what you're pitching to me right now. It's literally the same game.
I'm more so pitching to you Madden 2022. That's what I'm pitching to you.
Yeah, yes and no. Because again,
Tell me the difference. Give me the difference.
Scouting changed.
So that couldn't be added already to the old Madden?
Could it be?
Yeah,
Yes.
it could be with a patch, and that's kind
again,
of the point.
Well, I mean, technically they are doing it because it's not out yet. They're still working on it. That's what I'm getting at. Like, I'm not disagreeing with you on that front, but at the same time, you've literally only pushed to me maybe better servers, and you haven't even promised me that. That's what I'm getting.
I don't know. Literally, they've put a job posting up. So
I get that,
it's not
but
like
at
I
the
have
same time,
information to tell you what it's gonna be.
but
But
you're trying to throw
I'm
every
trying to.
game in that architect. Like, you're basically saying if it's a game, right, that is of a series, then I'm getting nothing new. Is what you're trying to tell me?
In Madden, what are you getting new?
No, you did that just now with Battlefield as well. Like every time there
In
is
Battlefield, what are we getting new? What are we getting new? I'm literally
New
we're all
destructible
hype.
environments.
We're
and,
all hype about what the environment will be able to do.
So
Well, yeah,
that's
because
We're getting the
it,
that's not
same-
new.
it
But that's not new.
freshens up the gameplay is the point, though. It's not.
Yeah, but you're gonna spend $60 for Battlefield
I'm not.
4 with these new additions, right?
So what
So
you're saying
if
is,
you're-
is if it's a series, we just shouldn't pay money for it.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying why wouldn't they make Rocket League a series? That's what I'm saying.
Because the core elements of the gameplay are not changeable without ostracizing your player base. It's one of the few exceptions where if you make drastic changes to the game, you risk ostracizing your player base.
But you're
Well,
saying you
right,
wouldn't
like
buy-
kind of what my
So what
point
I'm
is
saying
that
is-
it's like more of an esport thing, right? It's
Correct.
like the same concept as like you don't make football 2, you don't make basketball 2.
Yeah.
So why should
The
they
reason-
make Rocket League 2? I
Right.
don't think
Are
they
making-
should, but they probably are. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't see why you would make a Rocket League 2 though.
well,
why
right.
would
I'm
you
not
just-
even arguing that
So,
you should.
so my
or
question
that,
is why isn't Madden just a continuing series and they just patch it every time?
Because
yeah,
it's
I've
based,
been asking that question for years.
it's based on a model that predated what we can do now, and people haven't stopped being a part of it. That's why. Because the old Maddens,
yeah, just
the old
because of
Maddens,
tradition.
the old Maddens, you couldn't do this on until
That's true.
2004,
That's fair.
5, 6. You could technically start doing it, but that's assuming everybody had internet connection. And back then, we know better. I used to have a cherry pin connection. If you told me I had to download what back then would have been a fucking 10 gigabyte file, I would have shit myself because that's 4 days.
Correct. So
They're
let's
still
say
using an
let's
old
say from
tradition.
2015 on, right? So
The same reason you buy a new iPhone.
bruh, so what you're telling me is Rocket League is gonna break tradition. And
You assume it's the first game to do it. You assume
I'm
that,
not.
well, because like I said, they don't need to they don't need to make a Rocket League 2 because League of Legends has talked about trying to find ways to port all their stuff over to a new thing because their current platform is so outdated and it just makes it hard for them to do what they want to do. They didn't say we're going to come out with a League of Legends 2. They said we're going to port it over if we can, and we're trying to find ways to do this.
More of a hardware limitation
Yeah.
because in League of Legends case especially, it's been
So let's
fucking out for
let's put
years,
it at,
and they just
let's put it
released
at
that
League of
mobile
Legends,
version.
right?
Mhm.
Let's put it at League of Legends. If League of Legends 2 came out, are you buying it?
No, because it was free in the first place.
Basically.
I find that hard to believe.
Well, I mean, like I said, you're technically not buying it. I'm not purchasing the game. I'm purchasing the content within the game. That's been its
Right.
business model since day one. That's why I say, like with Rocket League, what's
How
the
many
point?
times have they ported it over to a new engine?
They haven't, and that's
I
been the
haven't.
issue.
That's the point.
Yeah, they've spoke about
So-
doing it, and they want to do it because they're still
So when
running
they
off the
do-
old school launcher system, like your old double window launcher, and it's so
So-
broken, and they understand it's broken. But
So
it
when
is
they do-
right, and
From a cost standpoint, do you think it'd be more cost beneficial for them to drop a League of Legends 2 or stay on League of Legends the current and port everything that everybody has already purchased over?
Well,
port
that's my
everything-
point. Is I think
port
they should
everything,
stay
because
with it. That,
they can't-
that's
they can't afford to, because that's over 10 years worth of stuff you're telling people just to let go, because that's how long the game's been out.
that also.
That's what they do, though.
No,
Yeah,
that's what other companies
that's-
do. Riot's had the opportunity to make League of
They
Legends 2
literally
for
haven't
years.
done anything. So what are we saying? We're talking about a company
Then
that
what's
did
your
nothing.
argument? Then what's your argument? Because I'm using League of Legends wanting to upgrade their system, and you're
But
telling
they
me
haven't.
again. I know they haven't. That's what I'm
But
trying to say.
I feel like we're just talking in circles a little bit.
Well, no, because like I said, I never said that they were going to or going to tomorrow. They've talked about wanting to do it because their current system. Your argument is why would they? It's because
Why would they port it? Why would they just? Why would they just spend the money to move it over to a upgraded version, an upgraded engine?
because their player
Instead,
base would fucking literally
in
become their name.
lieu in lieu of
That's exactly
in
why.
lieu of making League of Legends 2. So you
Well,
think
okay,
everybody would
so
just
here's the
abandon it?
thing, right, man? You know, like I don't see the
If you've
point
seen how
is
toxic their
that if
fucking
they
community is, yes.
it's the Destiny 1 thing. You know what
Fuck
I
yeah.
mean? When Destiny 1 closed its servers, they ported over a very small amount of things over to Destiny 2. And the fan base was pissed, and a lot of people quit playing it, and it took a long time for them to rebuild that groundwork. So if they are going to make a League of Legends 2, which I'm not saying they won't or shouldn't, then they need to port over at least skins and purchased content, you know, so that they can keep their player base and at least stick to the fundamental basis of what the game is in the first place. You know what I mean? And I think that would keep everybody happy. It's not that I think I don't think that either solution is better than the other in that
So I'm gonna give you a scenario. What if they came out, said we're porting nothing, we're gonna drop League of Legends 2, we'll give you 50% of the cost of your inventory in a voucher that can only be redeemed in the new game. You
and
think
some
people
of
would
those people
convert?
are getting like thousands of dollars worth of content
Oh, more
and
than that.
50, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like when League of Legends specific case, in League of Legends specific case, it's that it's just been out for so long, so they would probably benefit from just updating the launcher. But you know, it's like I was saying, you don't see them coming out with football 2 or basketball 2, you know. So why should they come out with League of Legends 2 if their fan base is happy with it? They just want the launcher updated. You know?
We literally see a football game a year, a basketball game
That's not
a
what I
year.
mean. I mean like in like real life football. You know what I mean? It's a real sport. It's the concept that esports aren't treated like real sports. You know what I mean? That's my point.
Man is an esport also.
Well, fair enough. But that's my point is that it's not treated like a real sport.
And also, men from a fundamentally gameplay perspective only changes maybe every 3 or 4 years. Like a lot of the changes you see will be franchise mode or like they're adding like the yard. Those are not things you're seeing in the quote unquote esport. Like your basic gameplay mechanics, like it's like the hit stick coming out. Those were like the monumental changes in the gameplay. So you're not technically ostracizing anybody by being like, oh hey, we added something else. Right?
Right.
Like they didn't go from Madden NFL football to, hey, we're doing AFL rules now because fuck it.
That's why I think they should just come out with a quintessential version of the game called Madden NFL and just update it with patches so that they don't have to come out with a new one every year. It's just that they make more money off of doing it that way.
I mean, they technically don't have to, but that's my point. That's my whole point is they want to make money.
Yeah, and
they
in
can
some
update
cases,
a roster.
I would see it losing
People have
money
updated
in
rosters.
some cases.
A lot of people backed out of Madden because they felt like they were buying the same game every year. But there are fans who buy that game every year. Shit, for a while, it was the August release was the most anticipated thing ever. The commercials were booming. Everything. Like it was an event for Madden to drop. The new Madden to drop. But it was the exact I mean, you're literally getting the exact same game, even to the point where people were just going in, users were able to update rosters. And so they would tweak rosters. I've seen draft class rosters being put out there. But nobody wants that shit. They want the new version of it. They want it on the new platform, the newest, the latest, the greatest platform. So I mean, from a monetary standpoint, I'm curious to see what Rocket League will do. I'll leave it at that.
I feel you. That's kind of my point too. Is that if they do come out with a Rocket League 2, I'm curious to see with what they would do with it, as, if they're going to actually change something, or if it's going to be just kind of like Overwatch, and people aren't happy about Overwatch 2. You know.
But that's the gamble of any game. Because if Rocket League becomes old and stale to the player base, then what? Dragon's already ready to back out of it because it's old and stale to him. So at some point you got to go in and take a risk, right?
That it should be treated on a case by case.
Because idealistically, every game's going to technically become old and stale, but at the same time,
Right.
it's what makes Rocket League unique. Is one of the few reasons I still play it. Is because it is the one game that I can say requires pure skill. Like League of Legends hasn't been around for 10 years because they've done something drastically innovative every 10 years. Like they've done shit
It's
and
because
almost
they
broke
listen to
it.
their community.
To a degree. They've almost broke the game more than once. Well, when I say almost broke, they have broke the game more than once.
Well, right, but it is what it is. They go back on it and fix it though, because their community is like, no, fuck you.
They will riot in the streets.
Riot.
Yeah, you like what I did there? They've slowly over time, like within what uh, ability they have upgraded the game in different ways, right? So if you look at early League of Legends videos, it literally looks like fucking shit you'd see like old StarCraft, right? It looks just like that. Like
Okay.
pixelated, rough, whatever. You've seen the news. You've seen it recently, right? Looks relatively clean.
Correct. Similar things have happened with Rocket League.
Yeah. The map has changed. I think this is its fourth variation. I think. And like when I say change, like not just from an aesthetic standpoint, from like it has physical changes. They're minute, but it's changed. But again, like it's all stuff based on like them taking a small gamble. Like dragons weren't a thing for a while. Like what we know as the dragons in the game and the soul point and all that shit, what that wasn't a thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's all relatively new within the past 2 years.
Okay.
I wouldn't say it was wildly popular. Um, I think the last change they made that like I'm trying to think of the last change they made because I read about it on something that because it was right before I started playing. I can't remember what it is. Like the little alcove, everybody's like, I don't even know why they did that. So on the map on either side of the map, there's these little alcoves that you can kind of run around.
Mm-hmm.
Some people fucking love them. Some people hate them. It's the most minute thing, but people really are pitching a fucking shit fit over it. Again, the game had been around for, at the time, probably 7.5 years when they put that in the game.
So I'm gonna ask you this, right? And I'm gonna stay on League of Legends. So if they took League of Legends, threw it on Unreal 5, and they made the terrain so terribly different and the gameplay so terribly different that the base no longer liked it, then what?
The game would probably die.
But if they came out with a League of Legends 2 and it was so drastically different that nobody really liked it from the door, they could always go back to League of Legends 1.
Well, that depends on if they commit to shutting down League of Legends 1, and that's kind of what I'm saying is about like it's kind of a case by case basis. You know what I mean? You can't really generalize what should or shouldn't be done because it really just depends on the game, right?
We've also seen game makers go back and open up servers because they see, oh, this isn't working, but this is, so we can continue to make money here. So we'll just leave this alone. The customers like it the way it is. We'll open it and allow modders to come in and do what they do. And if the community likes it, we'll support it, and we'll make a path for modders to come in and do what they do. And that's how I've seen a lot of games continue and carry on with communities. Whereas we're saying League of Legends, if they moved over to a new platform, it could potentially die, and that stream of revenue would just end.
Mm-hmm. Because it's a
As
free to play
opposed,
game.
Well,
Like
and
that's
it's
that's their whole
part of the
stream of
point
revenue.
is that if they change everything about it rather than just sticking to the basis of what it fundamentally was in the first place, just putting it on a new engine so that they can keep working on it and the hardware isn't outdated, then it's one thing,
Severely.
but if they take League of Legends and turn it into Smite, then yeah, the fan base is going to be pissed, you know what I mean?
so it's a gamble. The only thing is, I'm saying it's a gamble regardless.
Yeah, well, it's a gamble
Well,
for
I
them because the
agree.
game's been free since day one. So any move they make that upsets the player base. Oh, I mean, they're operating probably way overhead now, 10 years and that much content. Like, but still, right? Like, that's the reason why you have games like Legends of Runeterra, Valorant.
So, so from a company standpoint, would it be better to turn your game into an ugly fat bitch, or to go get you a new bitch and see if you can make it work with her?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It depends on the game, right? And your fan base and what they want from your game in the first place.
So I
Yeah,
mean, I
the community for League of Legends basically just wants the game to be less buggy, and it's almost impossible for them because, like I said, they're running off of software from 2010, bro. Like it's so fucking jank, and what
It's
they've
optimized as much as it can.
yeah, what they've done to this point is a fucking miracle. Like I complain about the game and some of the glitches in it, but honestly, thinking about it, when you look at it, they took
It really
shit
runs
from
really fucking well.
2010 and it's still working as well as it does and looks as good as it does. Touche, touche. You know what I'm saying? Like, do they need
when
the
did
upgrade? Yeah,
when did Rocket League come out? Super battle
2000.
cards, all that shit. When did it come out?
Sarp came out. It's been like 6 years.
So, and from SARP we got Rocket League, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is basically Rocket League 2. SARP was Rocket League 1, and Rocket League is Rocket League 2.
Pretty
Kind of,
much.
sort of.
Yeah.
And it's advanced quite a bit. So I don't understand the bucking back. If they could make it advanced some,
Because the player base for Sarp wasn't that big.
no, I understand that. They've grown their player base, but they could potentially continue to grow their player base this
Again,
way as well.
what they did is they took Rocket League and did everything that the handful of players that they had, like Cronovi, like Lachinio, like the old school ones, took their feedback and made a better game, basically.
But currently, the feedback from the fans is what? Is that the servers are buggy?
The servers are shit and you're making us pay for stuff that is trash. Or wanting us to. I'll put it that way. Not making us, but.
Correct. So what's gonna change on the new engine?
Well, my point in the first place isn't that they necessarily need to. I'm just trying to
Yeah,
come up with reasons as to
you're assuming
why
that
they might do it.
they're doing this because the players want them to or whatever. Like the whole
No,
moving to
I'm
Unreal
trying.
5 is
No, no,
just
no.
them doing
I'm
it
trying to
because they
figure
chose to.
out. I'm trying to figure out from the company standpoint what's the benefit of moving over to the new engine.
We don't know. We don't know what they're planning. That's
Yeah,
the issue.
that's the
It's
point.
not. It's not like they've
That's
got
the
the
whole point of
players.
my questioning. I'm asking us to hypothetically think as if we were them. What would be our reasoning?
I can't think like them. That's what I'm trying to get across to you.
Well, and that's what I was kind of trying to get across earlier is that they may be at it. I understand
No,
that it's a new
I
physics-based
understand
game,
you,
so
Droid.
let's add new physics so that we can add new mechanics. You know what I mean?
But
So that we
so
can hold true to the original, fair player fan base, but we can still do new things that we want to do.
and so if I told you I'm gonna sell you Rocket League 2, there'll be a classic version, and then there'll be all these other versions that we've built out. There's all these new game modes that we can drop. There's all these new ideas that we can load in because of it, and I'm gonna charge you $10 to get it. Because what was the original price? $20, Dragon?
Yep.
$20. we go back to the original pricing on it. I think customers would buy in.
Well, yeah, people
You're
buy
selling
into
me.
the Madden model every year. That's
You're
my
selling
point.
me. You're literally selling me the game that I love, and then you're promising to add on to that because of the new engine, Rocket League 2. As opposed to, I can't make $1 off of this because I've already moved Rocket League 1 to free to play. So I can't recoup the cost by selling you the game. So I gotta hope that all the new content that I create is something that, one, builds a greater player base, and two, they'll spend their hard-earned dollars to buy these new skins because I can design better skins.
You act like that's not a model.
It's part of a model.
It's been quite a few of these Fortnite, League of Legends, you name a free to play game. That's their whole model.
But none of those games have ported over to a new engine, is my point.
Yeah, but they started from nothing on that engine. That's what I'm getting at. Like, I know what you're trying to say. Like, oh, I put this time and energy in. Any free to play game is time poured in and praying that people want the bullshit you dangle in front of them. I don't have no.
Yeah, like adding a game pass isn't going to work if nobody wants to play the game, right? You know, and I think that's kind of the point that you were making just a second ago by saying they made it free to play and was hoping that they could recoup some of that cost through the game pass. But if people don't buy the game pass, then you're not going to recoup your cost.
No, their move to free to play was to bolster their player base.
Yeah,
because at this point, we went as far as we were going to go with Rocket League as a paid model because the player base hadn't grown. In fact, it started dwindling. And the second they made it free to play and then went full cross platform, huge spike because now you can watch because they use the e-sport to promote what you can do in Rocket League and what makes it exciting, and then turned around and just like, here, boys, go have fun.
Exactly.
Right. So now that spike is over, it's kind of like the same thing happened to For Honor a little bit. They made it free to play and the player base spiked, but that eventually fizzles out a little bit. So
correct.
My question is that now that it's free to play and the spike is past, is it starting to fizzle out again? You know what I mean? Like, is the player base going back down? Okay, and if that's the case, then there aren't as many people buying the Game Pass, so they're not recouping much of that cost that you were talking about, right? Like, am I right on the money with that?
Correct.
Like,
yep. In my opinion, now I would have to really look at their numbers to really know.
Well,
but
right.
From my perspective, yes, and they've made it a little bit more difficult to determine how much their player base has dropped because they've taken out true numbers and added in a good, better, best system for basically what their playlists are. But from the community, you can hear it across the board with anybody who covers Rocket League that from free to play to now, and I'll just go based on content creators because content creators feel it the most. When the player base drops, their views drop. So when there was interest from it being a free to play game, their views spiked right along with the game. So it kind of
sure.
I feel that to a degree.
Like they do in the sense where people are now going to start looking up videos to be like, how do I play this?
Correct.
Yeah, but at the same time, that's like not a clear cut way of judging it either because I've been playing.
The only thing that I can do is judge it based on that because, and I say this
because they've taken out the definite
because they've taken out the number. I can't tell you who's in the game now.
But you can only use that loosely as well because that's using a certain amount of conjecture. Because I don't watch as much Rocket League content as I used to, but I'm still an active player, right? Like
not as active.
Well, not as active, but I'm still an active player. I haven't given up the game completely, right? Just because I don't play it every day. I mean, there's very few games I play every day anymore, right? Like I just don't have the time. So I allot my time to the game I want to play that day. Granted, that's the rare exception. But like I said, I'm not. It's not like you've lost me completely just on the sake of I'm no longer a cog in the wheel. Like I add up as one person still at least once a fucking week because fuck
Yeah,
that
but
game.
but this is my thing. So if you don't turn it on every day, then what do you really count to the community? And yes, you are one person, but just because I own a game, if I never play it, if I jump on Skate XL once a year, does
Well, there's a
that help
difference.
their player
Again,
base?
that's a difference between once a year. You're taking it to the extreme. Like, yeah, I
Or
don't
if I
play it
jump on
every day.
once a week, that helps their player base.
Again, you're taking it to the extreme because there'll be a month or two where I'll play
I,
it maybe once or twice a week, and then I'll
the
go
thing
back and
is,
play it quite a bit. What I'm
I'm trying to
getting at,
find out that number
what I'm
that
getting
makes
at
them part of the
is
player base.
you're trying to say that I'm using myself as an example. I somebody that doesn't play it much but still keeps up with the scene pretty regularly. No,
Correct. So
I
you
don't
still
I
watch.
don't I don't watch some new like I've seen it. This influx of people I've never heard of before on YouTube talking about Rocket League and their tips and tricks. Trust me, my fucking recommended bar's full of people I've never heard of trying to tell me how to play Rocket League better. I've seen
So
it.
I'm not going based
Again,
on the number of content creators that are available. I'm going based on the basically a content creator took his
The
numbers and
views.
broke them down. Yes, his views
yeah, there's a lot
and
of people that do
his
that.
his, his spike went. It basically correlated to when the game went free to play,
Yeah, and I've
and
seen
that's all I'm saying.
yeah.
And again, it's not me saying that they're one to one. I'm just saying that now that's the only way I can measure it.
So you're measuring it through a means that doesn't directly correlate with the game.
It gives me some
Well, you
reference.
kind. I think what he's trying to say is that you kind of have to at least. Well, not have to, but you.
If I want
It
to
helps a
understand what the
little bit
player base looks
because
like,
right because they've taken out the definite counter. Is that correct?
yes.
But at the same time,
Like it helps you give
I
a
can't
bit
take
of an idea.
again. I can't take what one content creator says and it's like, oh, I had a dip in views after the free to play. It's like, well, if all you're doing is how to videos,
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to say. Is well, yeah, your
sorry, not
views are
sorry.
going to go back down after a second because you're just
So,
doing tutorial
and I
videos
agree.
and
And
people are
like
I'm
going to
going.
watch tutorial videos once or
Lawler could
twice.
say that his views on YouTube went down, but it's because more people watch his streams now. Like they
That's
get
also fair.
they get the information that day, right? Like whatever's in his YouTube videos, he covered on stream. He does most of his
And
shit
in
on
any
stream.
case, I think your stream would do a better give you a better judgment of the
Yeah.
community anyway.
Like
Personally, just because you
Rizzo
do
set
get
up
that
the other
definite
day.
counter of how many people are watching.
Oh, Rizzo might be live right now, and he was still rocking pretty good numbers.
But did he? Did he? So, and this is the only reason I
And
go to
he's
YouTube
retired.
because content is available at your fingertips whenever, as opposed to I have to catch somebody actually playing it. Interest is spiked. I don't. So if I'm new to the scene, I don't know who a fucking Rizzo is. I don't know who a Squishy Muffins is. I don't know any of these people.
Well, yeah, of
But
course you don't.
but but I know that I want to play this game, and I've seen people do things that
Okay.
I'm unable to do.
Well,
So
but that thought
I go
process
to.
though, like
Can I
what?
finish my thought?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like I tried to do that a minute ago, but I'm trying to tell you right now. Like this is what I was saying. Like I've seen these randoms that you're talking about, and I don't know who they are. I know who the people in the scene are that I should listen to because they're pros. I get that, but I'm not gonna watch Jake X Rocket League X, right? More than 6 videos because by the time this is how YouTube works. That's why I'm interjecting right now.
Go
Is
ahead.
I watch 6 or 7 of Jake's. Oh, this is how you do a flip reset. Right? Let's say Jake isn't knowledgeable, but he's not stupid, right? Like maybe he gets a couple things right, right? Okay. So it's going to recommend some other guy and then some other guy. But sooner or later, it's going to recommend Kronovi, Rizzo, somebody that's done it, Squishy. Hell, maybe First Killer. I don't even know if he has a channel, right? Scrub Killer. And then they're going to see, oh, and then you watch 1 or 2 Scrub Killers, right? Because he's a young kid that's relatable at the time, probably, right? Hell, he's still young, what, like 19 maybe? No?
Yeah, I think he is only like.
Then you're going to turn around and watch somebody like Scrub, and then you're going to watch somebody like XYZ, and they'll have, because sooner or later, YouTube's going to recommend them one of these high profile players, right?
Uh huh.
Then it's going to turn around and recommend them high profile matches like Johnny Boy Show matches. They're not gonna watch Jake RL anymore, right? Because like I used to watch Holo.
That's not true.
I used to watch Holo YouTube quite a bit,
Correct.
right? But I watch his streams more than I watch his YouTubes. I started watching. I found out who Kronovi was. I found out who Squishy was. I started watching these people because they're pros doing it, right? Like Holo's good.
Yeah, but the difference is most of the pros don't go through and break down moves.
Right? Now not so much, but they used to. But that's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at. There's still a handful that do. Like I don't know if Squishy.
And if they're
does.
going to, they're going to do it in stream.
You have to stumble into them. But again, you're speaking because you recognize these names. If I'm new to, if I never watched football a day in my life, and you told me to turn on the best 5 games that's gonna come on today, I'm gonna look at you like, man, what the fuck are you talking about? They all gonna be the best 5 games, I guess. Because I don't have a standard at that point.
Again, I understand
John
that.
Sandman might be my standard at that point.
And I get that. But what I'm telling you is the YouTube algorithm will not allow you to do that because it will start just pumping crazy ass information at you from like 20 different content.
Right. Creators. And at that point, who do you qualify as part of the community? You know what I mean? The new influx of players that are going to watch these videos and then fizzle out, or the people that have been playing it forever in the Twitch streams.
Because he might watch Jake RL whatever fucking 85 times or whatever, and he might have good numbers. But again, sooner or later it's gonna recommend somebody or something to where you recognize shit. Like so it's not rocket surgery.
In every instance, you're going to just fizzle into I'm only gonna watch X pro player.
I never said necessarily ex-pro player, but again,
I mean, based on your logic, you're telling me that the path is going to be YouTube, in the way the algorithm is set up is YouTube is going to filter me into.
It's going to filter you into.
Squishy.
It's going to filter
the
you
highest
into
level players.
It's going to filter you into.
It's definitely going to recommend it because that's the
and
whether or not you choose to make the decision to watch it.
And number one, if you're sitting here watching YouTube on how to get better at Rocket League, you're gonna watch some of the way it's best played, and you can be like, oh, what's this? It don't take a rocket surgeon. Like you got to be a stupid motherfucker, and yes, I'll use this in this context this one time. You got to be a retarded son bitch to see on your YouTube recommended Rocket League World Championships and not know that's the highest pinnacle of play. It's you got to be some special type of stupid.
Yeah, but I can go watch the highest level of play and not understand how to do anything that they do in their videos.
That's fine. But again,
and
if you're watching,
I'm filtered right back. Then I'm gonna go back to the person that I started with. Oh, okay. Well, there's flip recess. That's what they calling out in this video. I went to this person. He showed me how to do X, Y, Z. Let me go look at their videos and see if they still have those type of things because I was able. The way he taught me, I was able to learn it, pick it up, and do it.
You're assuming that's the whole play, like that's all the players are just going to just automatically
right. This one guy. And that's kind of the point I was making about like who do you really qualify as part of the community? You know what I mean? Like
it's
people that are going to fizzle out.
From.
Well, yeah,
I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying, as the viewer, not the person posting the video, right? Just the viewer. Can you really call yourself as a part of the community if you're just going to eventually fizzle out and quit playing? How do you base that number if you don't have the definite counter in the game? And that's kind of the point you were making just a bit ago, and that's kind of the point I'm making now is like, it's just, you can't necessarily totally quantify that number if they are trying to bar you from knowing, you know what I mean? Because not everybody is going to, the tutorial videos are going to get more views than the World Championship, in my opinion, probably, just because people are going to watch the tutorial videos multiple times to learn how to do something.
Yeah, but once they're done with it, they're done with it. There's no...
Exactly. They don't come back. And they might keep watching that other dude's other videos just because they like his personality, but there's no guarantee that they're going to.
And that's what I'm trying to get at. Like, is it doesn't matter, like... there's a handful of people I've watched on YouTube. Like I don't watch, I don't care for their content. Like if I'm going to YouTube, right? And it's not to learn how to do some shit, just to watch somebody's content. It's because I like who that person is. and your how-to videos or whatever, like, look, I don't care much for Lethmere, right? Like, as a content creator, I watch his videos to see what type of crazy shit he's doing, but that's what's here and there. I watch like Lawler because I get a lot of the information that I want. Who got traded where?
And this is when you really start watching their content. What level were you in the game?
Maybe plat. But you got to understand, when most of Rocket League's player base is somewhere between my two sons, and I have to use them because that's how I can separate myself from this and make it a tangible argument, right?
Mhm.
I have my older who's closer to me, who wants to get good at the game and who might do the homework because that's what it requires, right? Like, you've got to go do it, right? At the end of the day, you just got to go do it.
Right.
And then you have my youngest son who just wants to drive upside down in the net.
Right.
That means
He's not gonna watch one fucking YouTube video on it, and he'll play it quite a bit, right? Like, he'll play the game quite a bit. Like, there's been times where I've seen him in there, but he's not playing online a whole lot. And the couple times he does, like, he gets off because he's like, we just lose because I suck, and he's not gonna, like. That's why I say, like,
But is your son competitive at other games?
yes and no.
The youngest?
Yes and no. He is until I get a hold of him. Like,
So,
he plays a lot of Rainbow Six. Like,
it sounds
a
like
lot.
his threshold is he at your level or is he below? And so he may not want to play the game because he's not at your level and he can't add to it.
No, it's really about, like, if there's a super steep learning curve, he don't want to deal with it. He just don't.
Correct. But there are people who want to overcome that steep learning
Yes,
curve.
there are, but they're
because of
rare.
entertainment.
My oldest son is one of those, and I can promise you, he hasn't watched hardly any YouTube videos. He just goes and does it. Like, he knows what I've shown him, not me, like my gameplay. Like, he's watched. We went to DreamHack, right? Like, he's seen the top of the top.
Correct.
And all he does is like, Dad, how did they do that?
And you do what?
Just tell him, and then go practice.
So if he didn't have and this is why your son doesn't count, because he has you as his source of information. So if he didn't have you as his source of information, what would he turn to? More than likely the internet. More than likely YouTube.
Give or take. Because, like I said, he already has access to that, even for the game. Like I said, they both do for all the games they play, right? Like, I don't know a whole lot about Rainbow Six Siege. My youngest plays the living fuck out of it.
How old is your youngest?
But I bet
14.
he watches a lot of YouTube videos about it.
No, he didn't. No, he fucking doesn't.
Does
You
he
know,
watch
a lot of streams?
you know what the fuck he watches on YouTube that drives me insane? He watches fucking
PewDiePie.
Markiplier.
I hate Markiplier. That's
He
worse than
spends
PewDiePie, bro.
fucking hours watching that shit. He don't watch shit. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I can't correlate that, because he plays Rainbow Six and he wants to get good at it. He will not do anything to learn about it besides watch fucking Markiplier on YouTube or some other fucking, like Sniper Wolf fucking fake reacting to shit. And I'm like, child, watch something relevant. Like, for at least 10 minutes. Like, not all day, but, like,
That's why you suck at the game.
Yeah.
That's the point, though.
Yeah, and that's what I've told him, and he's just like, no, I'm good. He's one of those. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can't necessarily. He is one of those. Like, there's kids just like him that play Rocket League that are ass and go out there and say they're good.
I look at it from this standpoint. If I'm trying to determine how many players are gonna invest in this sport, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then I kind of tend to look at the YouTube numbers, right? And that's to say that the engagement level for that person with this game is high enough that they'll seek out content online to better themselves.
Yeah, but that's what you just mitigated like a huge chunk.
Again, I can't give you accurate numbers.
Well,
because
you can't say the health of the game. But you can't say the health.
I mean, at this point, they could say it's great all the time, and it could be 7 of us on.
Well, and I'm not debating that. Like, I understand what you're trying to say, but what I'm trying to tell you is, like, using YouTube as a avenue to say, like, whether or not it's healthy or not healthy is inaccurate, because again, once I get to a like if once I learn how to do XYZ, this
So
person no longer has.
how can we measure it? How can we measure if they have
I don't
if the base is still the same?
again, I don't know,
So I'm trying to give
using
you
that,
a point of reference.
and
So
I'm negating
if
that
you're
point of
telling me
reference.
then you're telling me there's no way to measure it, right?
Logically,
There's absolutely nothing we could do in the world to tell me what the Rocket League player base looks like.
Well, the thing is that I
Yes
think
and
what
no.
he's trying to say is that you can guesstimate,
That's
and
all I'm trying to do.
correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, like I think you're both trying to say that you can guesstimate, but you can't find an exact number, and one of you is trying to say this is how.
I'm
right?
trying to say, look, this is the only measurable way that I can see us figuring out if the player base is growing, or if it grew, or if it bubbled and the bubble is beginning to burst.
Well, and that kind of goes back to my point. Like, part of this anyway goes back to my point of how do you define who is in the community? Because if people like your son, your youngest son, don't contribute anything, don't even keep up with the community, then can he really be considered part of the community if he's just playing in low level ranks and doesn't really do anything and fizzles out? You know what I mean? Even in Rainbow Six, you know what I mean? Even if you want to use
not
Rainbow
really.
Six so
because
exactly.
And the reason I say that is because those people don't tend to spend money.
Exactly.
Well, by
So
that,
for me,
logic margin, like the player base has never really grown.
So, I mean, for us, no.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you're quantifying it by like, because at this point you're talking about like the upper tiers of Rocket League player base. Those are
No,
the people
I'm
that
not. I'm talking about engagement within the gaming community.
Well, and that's why
So,
I think
to
the
me,
Twitch streams are a more accurate look at that, because you do have people that are engaging with the community that already know what they're talking about, as opposed to people that are trying to get new into the community.
Yeah,
and I could agree with that, but I could also use YouTube as well.
Yeah, to see how it's growing. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and that's all that's all I was trying to say.
Yeah, I wasn't ever disagreeing with you necessarily.
I know, I agree. I know. Not you, Dragon.
Well, it's not that I'm disagreeing. I'm just saying it's not a tangible measure that you can be like, oh, it's reached its peak and now it's falling off. It's like you can't unequivocally say that. That's literally where you start arguing like where like the stance of religion and stuff, right? Like neither one of us can disprove the other one. So we're just basically working off of hypotheticals. And through hypotheticals, I get no actual tangible evidence. It's just, well, it could be shrinking, but I can't say for sure. And I get what you're saying. Like, yeah, we don't have a good way to measure it. But
so don't measure it at all?
Well, no, what I'm saying is speaking on hypotheticals and being like, oh, well, the game is losing a player base because YouTube algorithm and this guy said it's getting smaller because his views went down.
I'm not. You keep saying one guy. I'm speaking for a community of people. How about that?
I mean, you can say for a community.
Saying one guy. I may be saying one guy because he specifically showed his number. He charted it. He did everything. But I've heard John Sandman say it, one of the biggest YouTubers, not one of the most talented people out there.
And it wasn't just as free to play. Like it's a lot of his content get erased whenever they got rid of crates because that was some of his biggest content. He was like Athena, like their biggest YouTube fucking clips were based off of their quote unquote crate reaction openings. You want to talk about people wasting money on the game? There's two people.
No, they made a lot of money. That's not a waste of money.
Well, what I'm saying is like, when I say waste money, like they've dumped a ton of money into it, and like, I understand they make money off of it, but it's like, fuck, dude, that's a lot. They're doing 100 crate openings, like
it's a lot of tax write-offs.
Yeah, that's a lot of fucking money.
No, it's not. Their business is to market this game and market their content. So any money spent towards that would be able to be written off in a business. So they're not really losing anything. They're getting it right back. And I'm not saying in their sheets, I'm saying from the government, they're able to write those dollars off.
That's assuming they're doing it.
I'm
Yeah.
if you're streaming at their level and you don't have a tax professional working on your taxes, you're an idiot.
I will say there's plenty. Like, well, we've seen it like with like the contracts. Some of these kids have taken some fucked contracts.
Contracts are different.
Well, I mean contracts and taxes because a lot of them don't know the difference, right? Like they couldn't tell you with what, like some of them didn't, like I've heard streamers say they didn't know that they were supposed to be taking money out for taxes. Like that,
correct.
and it's like, and like I'm like, oh
And
shit, we
that's
need a
why
better
I named
education system.
that's why I named
Yeah,
two of
for
the
sure.
biggest streamers to do it. Right, I'm naming the biggest in this genre. John Sandman is probably one of the top content creators, right?
He's up there with like Sunless, Johnny Boy, probably, yeah.
So for him, like if he doesn't have somebody working on his taxes at this point in his career,
Well, yeah, he's one of the few, yeah.
then he would be an idiot.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you who made bubble today and have people watch your Twitch stream should have an accountant already in the tuck. No, I'm saying that somebody established like an Athena or a Johnny Boy should have that type of infrastructure because they've made enough money to understand where their write-off points would come from. And I think Athena's actually signed to, or she was signed to G2 at one point, right?
Yeah, but she ended up leaving them not long after Rizzo got cut. I don't think it correlated. I think it was just like her contract ended whenever, not long after.
I'm sure it was. I'm pretty sure that's probably why. That was probably part of Rizzo leaving as well.
It's possible.
My whole thing is they know the points to write off. That's all I was trying to say. And if they don't, then they would be idiots. Because if you're spending that amount of dollar and not understanding that it could be written off, you would have to be an idiot.
Well, to a degree, like I'm not sure if they do because a lot of the times they use their dono money and shit for that shit.
Correct, but that donor money has to be accounted for as well. Those donations aren't just free money.
Oh, I'm aware.
Those have to be accounted for as income. And actually, they have to be accounted for as tips. And they're taxed at a different rate. So, I mean, those are things that most people wouldn't know. But the first time you went to go do your taxes, the person that is doing your taxes will tell you all of the shit that you need. Everything that you should be able to do. And if he's a good tax professional, they should be able to tell you where you can write things off. Buying consoles, upgrading computers, gaming chairs, dedicating a room specifically to gaming so that you can write that room off in your house. All of that shit to save money.
Again,
but I don't even know how the fuck we got here.
I don't disagree with what you're trying to say, but like, again, I've seen it. It's like some of these kids, they want to do everything on their own, and they're like using TurboTax, and it's like, oh Jesus Christ, that's gonna be a nightmare. Because just thinking about it, like that gives me, like, I don't disagree. Like maybe Athena, maybe John Sam, because like, I would hope they're smart enough. But again, Athena, like Rizzo, they're still young. Like they started this shit hella young, and if their parents weren't in their ears, like, hey, you need to do X, Y, Z, then they're fucked. Like there's no other way to put it.
Yeah, because like in all honesty, y'all talking about this is even opening my eyes to that type of shit. Cause it's like, damn, you really could, huh? Yeah, you right. Yeah, shit. Maybe I should.
and again, their entry point was at a super young age, so they might not have the wherewithal. But when taxes get filed and they're generating income, their parent then has to step in and say, well, I can't file this way because of this. So then you have to look at all the write-offs. Again, there's going to be a tax professional brought in at some point, unless you're just going to say fuck it and not deal with your taxes.
Well, and part of it
I
is
don't want to disagree with you on that, but I've met some stupid ass fucking people.
And, I agree.
Oh God,
I mean, we see athletes with fucking tax issues.
Was it Wesley Snipes?
This is a whole other conversation. Well, that is like a failure of the public education system in a sense, right?
Well, no, literally, Wesley Snipes accountant was robbing him
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
and claiming that he was filing his taxes.
Oh, is that why he went to fucking
Yeah.
jail?
What happens to a lot of people who end up in jail
Damn.
for tax evasion and all that shit that have the money at the time.
Yeah,
It's not.
sketch
It's
as fuck.
usually somebody else is supposed to be responsible for that portion of that's somebody else's job, and that somebody else who has access to the money
He's a
is
piece of
just
shit.
swindling you out of your money. They're just taking the money. They're claiming that they filed your taxes. They're claiming basically you're paying them for a service that they never actually completed. So they're just robbing you blind.
My favorite type of people.
And the system is set up in such a way that the penalty for that is minimal, and you're always still responsible for your taxes. So regardless of what the fuck that person didn't do, you still owe the government that money.
And if you
I don't
can't
know how
pay,
to.
I owe the government these nuts.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Tell the government that.
Yeah.
And they gonna come and put your ass right behind bars and be like, you know what?
All right, put me behind
God
bars.
damn, you
Show me a law that
You
says
got
I
your
gotta pay
nuts.
my taxes.
Oh, they're gonna
me
show
a
you
law.
several.
No, they're not. No, there's not. No, that they. You can open up the book for the IRS penal code, and there's not a single law in there that says you have to pay your taxes. That's why we fought the Revolutionary War, my friend.
Don't pay your taxes.
I'm not gonna.
I just want to see how it works out for you
this year. Like in all fairness, I believe that.
All
but
of
I'm
that shit
still
sound
want to.
cute. Don't pay your taxes. Let's see how it play out. I would love to see it. like after all the warnings, I would love to see it.
Government wants their money. They gonna get their money.
That's a motherfucking fact. Because if that's the case, then Capone should have never went to jail for tax evasion.
That's what I'm saying. None of these people should go to jail for tax evasion because tax evasion doesn't even fucking exist.
All right. Don't pay the government.
I do. That's what I'm saying because I don't want to go to jail. That's why I'm saying we need another Revolutionary War. That's why I was fought.
That's the path you were going on.
That's the path I'm going on. Not that I'm not going to. That it's ridiculous that we have to because there's not even a law.
These motherfuckers can't choose. There is no agreement on anything in this country right at this point. But
nope.
I don't know how. Damn boy, we talk about we done hit taxes. We done hit all because we was goddamn talking about Rocket League.
It'd be like that sometimes.
But again, I'm curious, and this has been fucking. I apologize. This has been like the Rocket League episode, and I don't know if we ever meant to be that, but I just don't see the benefits of porting over to. And that's basically where this all started. I need to run to my door right quick, so give me a second.
No, you're good.
Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree that there aren't many benefits to porting over. It's just that I can see them doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of people do stupid shit for no reason.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't see the benefits of them releasing another version of Rocket League. It's not saying they're not going to. I just, again, don't see the benefits. Because at this point, you're gonna ask people to pay for something again, and like, for what though?
Just based off of what I know about Destiny and Destiny 2, I could see them totally doing it just to make a buck.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't think it's impossible, but I just don't see the reasoning behind it. Again, I'm not saying that's why I don't like speaking in hypotheticals a lot, because it's just like there's too many unanswered questions.
Yeah, man, anything's possible.
Yeah. Like they could just completely reinvent the game and destroy it, or they could have the God game, but that's neither here nor there. I only had a couple more pieces that I wanted to go over before we call it a show, because we have been going for a hot minute. I don't know if you saw, I posted that they are going to do a virtual concert with Pentakill for League of Legends.
I did see that. I did.
That's gonna be spicy. I'm excited.
I still don't even fucking really know what that means too much, but like, what's Pentakill?
Pentakill is another band via League of Legends.
I see.
And
so it's like in the mythos?
Yeah, kind of. It's kind of like KDA, you know, like they have, the only difference is like Pentakill was the first, you know, named whatever blah blah that did like an actual album release for the game. So they have two that are out, and evidently their concert is for the third. And I'm stoked because Pentakill is like heavy metal.
So is
Like,
Pentakill like just a band that makes music for the game, or is it supposed to be like an in-universe thing, like these characters formed a band? Like, I guess is my question, just to clarify.
I think both technically.
I see. Well, yeah, is it like a Gorillas thing, or are they just like Crush 40 for Sonic? You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
To my knowledge, I'm not even sure who the actual people are in Pentakill, like the real people.
I see.
Again, I've only seen it through like Spotify, so it never says like, you know, whatever, just Pentakill, blah 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 blah, or YouTube, you know. But the members that make up the band via the game is Karthus, Mordekaiser. Of course, they have, you know, it's the skin lines. Mordekaiser.
Okay, yeah, so it is in-game characters that.
Yeah.
It's like a role play thing. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, that should be pretty cool. I'm excited. I didn't know they're releasing an album. Like I didn't know that they were going to get a new one. I'm excited. So there's that.
That's cool.
I think I'm going to be working while the virtual concert happens, so hopefully I get to watch it.
You can listen to it at the very least.
Yeah, let me see. It says on the 9/8/21, Lost Chapter comes to life with the interactive, and that's the other beautiful thing. Their songs are named after items in the game, so it's kind of comical. It's cute. It's cute. I'll send you the playlist on Spotify or through here, and you'll get to see it. It's pretty cool. But yeah, it was basically just talking about like how they
yeah, they're having
expand
their
on
first
it.
virtual concert or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they performed at the MSI.
Oh, I see.
Or the LCS midseason showdown, and it's pretty cool. The only other things I had to touch on though, because like I said, that was just kind of a cool little tidbit for the gamers out there that like League of Legends. AMZ Ryzen is requiring a download the latest chipset drivers for critical. Was it? I lost the word. Critical security fixes. There you go. So yeah, if you have AMD chip.
What the fuck does that mean?
Well, they're pretty vague on it. They're just like, hey,
yeah, I bet they are.
You really need to download this.
Your system is at risk.
Yeah, so if you have the newest AMD chipsets, and I want to say it went back, it's before this latest set.
I thought it was everything on this platform. Does that make sense?
No.
Like, I thought it was everything that was on the Ryzen platform, like Ryzen. What is it? All the way back to like the 3600 up.
Well, yeah. No, but I'm talking about like the generation before this is what I'm getting at. Like it's this it's like the brand new generation, the generation right before it, and I can't remember if it's the one before it. Right? It's kind of like how Intel you have the what's it? Caddy Lake or whatever, like that's its own, you know, it's similar to that. And I want to say it went back 2 or 3 generations that you needed to download the driver for. I want to say,
which would have been like 3600 or 30.
I don't think they changed the number variations for theirs.
Yeah, 37, 36, 38, and then they went to 58, 57. Didn't they do it that way?
No, because I have the 28X, but you can get the like 30 whatever, and it's still technical the same chipset. You see what I'm saying?
I'm sorry, my bad. It's the 2700, the 3700, and the what is it? The 1700 or something like that. Right? The first set was like 1700. I'm gonna look this shit up. Wait, no need for us to argue about the shit.
Well, I'm not arguing. I'm just confused at what you're trying to say. Like that's
generations.
Yeah, but I don't think they
generations.
Yeah, I don't think they did theirs that way. I don't think.
How did they do it? Because I'm looking at a Ryzen 5 2600, right?
Yeah.
But that's not the same as the Ryzen 5 3600. That's a generation newer is the 3600.
see. Scroll, motherfucker. And no, uninstall, blah, 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 blah. Oh, this doesn't say on this one. Anyways, if you have the fucking Ryzen shit, upgrade your shit because evidently it has an issue. And that's never good. Like, again, it doesn't really say, it just security shit. So that can't be good.
Yeah, sounds like a lawsuit.
Yeah, no, never. Other than that, all I had was the little thing that how to enable God mode in your Windows 10 or 11. Little tidbits for people out there. For the non-techie, God mode just allows you to access certain things a lot easier. Some features are way better when you do God mode. If you're not tech savvy, don't do it because you'll break your shit. We'll leave it at that because that's how that shit works. It's like
Always.
It's like cracking.
It's like changing your system's language to Mandarin.
Yeah. And then you can't get it back. Pretty much is how that works. It just basically goes over how to do it in Windows 11. It's just like Windows 10. A lot. It's basically just saying like there's some hidden options, right? That you can get through that make it work. Oh God, excuse me. It's not the fix all, but basically you make a new folder. You turn around and name the folder as my ad just keeps popping up. Thank you. God mode, and then it's literally this huge text bar. Again, just you can look this up. It's just about everywhere. I've seen it in multiple places now. Anyways, you name the folder God mode dot blah 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 bracketed shit. It's a lot of numbers. It'll change. The folder will go blank. Whatever, you open up the folder, and then it's got over 200 different settings to choose from.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Again, the only reason I mention it is for those techie people. They've probably heard about it. Again, just Google it. It'll tell you what to name the folder, how to get into it. For the non-techie, you don't need to know because you'll break your shit. And I don't want you trying to call me and being like, I heard this advice from this guy. I didn't give you no advice. I just said this is a way that you can make your computer do some cool shit that I couldn't do before.
That's how you can do it, though.
Yeah, I didn't say it was smart for you to do it. Never said it was smart. But other than that, did we have any other closing thoughts? Because we've
I think we about dumped a load of our thoughts today.
Yeah. That's a nice way of putting it, yes.
Yeah.
All right. Like I said, we had a decent amount of information this week to go over. Nothing too groundbreaking stuff. This time of year is always just waiting for certain games to come out and hoping they don't suck ass. News-wise, you're hoping that a game that's supposed to come out in December, January doesn't get pushed back. That's about the biggest news you get right now. Usually, right? The game's getting pushed back this time of year.
Usually.
Yeah, he's like, we're not gonna hear any like brand new like Battlefield 2042 like innovations between now and release day.
Yeah, if they push that shit back, bruh, I might have to go get the strap, bruh.
So we know where life stands on this matter. So yeah, it's just gonna be just random tech news, maybe some like happenings within the communities, whatever, blah blah. And yeah, mostly tech side stuff, unless it's like a game that was started or slated for January, February. We might get news on it then, but
right, you might get like some new looks at this game, but there's no like huge announcements coming out right now about new shit.
Yeah, if the game's not scheduled to release the holiday window, as they like to call it, we're not.
Right.
Your under the radar games come out in January, February, March. Anything else is gonna wait until fucking E3s or whatever fucking shit to like finally poke their heads out. But yeah, we'll see what we can dig out for next week's episode. We might pick another topic to go over like we did a couple weeks ago. We'll see what's up. Again, if you listen, you liked it, please leave us a like. Please drop us a comment. Let us know you're listening. Let us know that you give a fuck or you don't. Tell us that you don't give a fuck. That'd be nice too. We like that.
We're gonna keep
I'll
going down these
poop on your
goddamn
head.
rabbit holes.
Yeah, we're gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna try to stream some more, so check me out on my Twitch. I have it linked in the bio. But until next time, bitches, get on my level.